Live. Clicking live.
Clicking it live with the squeaky flow. Knock you down like a domino. Yo, TikTok, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. To everyone who's watching from all around the world, your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D Wood. With me now is a guy who, right before we started, said we're going to have to build a church on the Kaaba.
That's right. That's me.
Didn't want to
That's me.
expose you for that, AP, but fair is fair.
How dare you? How dare
All
you?
right. So we're talking about this Babri Mosque controversy. You familiar with this? I actually covered this a few years ago. I talked about this with Hindu historian. Remember Hindu historian?
Oh yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, I had a discussion with him in a live stream a few years ago where I'm guessing it was back then because that was when a court ruled that that a Hindu temple could be built on the site of what was once the Babri Masjid. And now it's actually they're working on completing it, and they're about to have a big ceremony. They're about to have a big ceremony where the prime minister comes, and yeah, we're gonna have to read about it. But anyway, you familiar with this, AP? Heard this story?
I think I heard something about it before, but sorry.
What the heck is wrong with you?
I don't know. Suddenly,
The return of COVID.
just before we went live, I actually saw some people tweet about some Muslims tweet about it, and some people complaining like, apparently the Muslim diaspora around the world is useless because they can't even spread the grave news of this and stand up for us, and it's all just about, I guess, the mosque being turned, or a temple built on top of the, or where the mosque is. And this is apparently a huge disaster and an injustice, which is very, very, very funny because it immediately brings to mind a lot of hypocrisy.
Oh, it brings to mind a lot of hypocrisy, all right. And that's kind of the real issue here. This concept of most groups and cultures have some version of what's called the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we have one ideology that says, no, we're going to do to others things that we would freak out if they ever tried doing to us. And our goal in life is to do to others things that we would never want done to ourselves. And if you point that out, then you're somehow evil, because your true place in the world is to be completely subjugated to them. And so it's this weird situation where, if it were any other group, and like one group is saying, we're going to build our stuff on top of what used to be your stuff, and so you can say, okay, I understand. I get why people are upset here. But in this case, I think you can see why so many Hindus side with Israel in the dispute, because it's a very parallel situation. It's, we're going to conquer the world. We're going to conquer the world. We're going to conquer the world. Oh, we're actually losing this one, and we're not powerful enough to do this thing that we want to do. Oh, we're victims. Poor us. Can college students protest for us? Can anyone help us? Can communists help us? Can someone help us here? And I don't know. It's kind of pathetic. It's kind of pathetic. So, in other words, if Muslims were really, really nice and consistent and not hypocrites at all, and some Hindus came along and said, we're going to break up your building and destroy it and build our stuff. Ha, 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 ha. And I'd be like, hey, it's kind of messed up there. But that's just not what's going on here.
Exactly. I mean, we just had several years ago the whole in Turkey, in Istanbul, the Hagia Sophia, which used to be the major,
This place?
Yes.
Yep.
The major cathedral, one of the most important places in.
That was the biggest. That was the biggest church on the planet at one point.
Yeah. And so huge importance to early Christianity, huge importance to Eastern Orthodox Christianity later on, and so on. And Muslims took it over, turned it into a mosque, and it was turned into a museum during the secularization of Turkey. But then again, with the Islamization of Turkey recently, there was this whole goal of turning it into a mosque once again, although there is no need for it at all. Like
Hmm.
there is a mosque
They have
right
plenty of
across from
mosques,
it.
right? There's a
Yeah,
big
there's one right
giant
across
mosque
from it.
right
Yeah.
there. Hmm.
Yeah, actually they built a mosque during the Ottoman era to be to rival this mosque basically, or to rival this church or mosque, which is I think bigger in capacity than the Hagia Sophia. So there was no need for it at all, but just for the symbolism, they turned this into the mosque once again and celebrated it and proudly declared it and announced it. And Muslims around the world were like, yeah, well, what is it to you? This is a Muslim country. We do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's our country. We're strong, so we can do what we want. We can do what we want in our country where we're strong.
Yeah. But hey, suddenly, of course,
Oh wait, they're
if
building something on ours in their country, the country where they're bigger than us and they're strong. That would be wrong. That's wrong
no
and
can do
immoral.
that,
That's evil. Only evil people would do that to another person's sacred site.
Muslims would never do something like that. Seriously, if the trajectory continues as it
If
is, then
the trajectory continues.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hagia Sophia, was once the biggest church in the world. Jihadi said, oh, we have to have that. They had it for a while, had it as a mosque. Then Turkey became a bit more secular, wanted to get along and said, hey, how about we turn this in, since there's a dispute over this, why don't we turn this into a museum? That way everyone's feelings are protected. And then just a few years ago, yeah, you know what, screw all that. Let's just make it a mosque, and anyone who doesn't want it, a mosque, can cry us a river. Ha ha! And then, of course, what did all the guys say all over Twitter? Ha ha! Cry, die in your rage over this. And now they want us to be sympathetic, so very, very sympathetic over the Babri Mosque. And I'm starting to think maybe people are catching on. So let's just show. So again, this is Hagia Sophia. That was a church. It's now a mosque, and not needed to be a mosque anyway. There's a mosque right by it. Big giant mosque right by it. This was the Babri Masjid. And this is an artistic rendering of what the temple that's currently under construction is going to look like when it's finished. So now it's going to be a Hindu temple. So it was this. That place was destroyed. And now it's going to look like this. Got it? And so there are lots of people who are upset about that and who want our sympathy and who want us to go around protesting and so on. Want kids on college campuses to run around screaming, how dare you, how dare you. Here we have Sir Whitemeat. It's Dr. Zucker Nike's favorite scholar.
Oh yeah.
So say what you want. Them Hindus got some cool architecture.
Huh.
That is true.
Huh.
Hey, look at this dope. This guy's been spamming the same comment over and over. David is so obsessed with Islam. He never preach about his own faith. He already knows that Christianity is finished.
Christianity.
David never talks about his own faith. I'm looking at my videos on my channel right now.
Why do you never talk about Christianity? I've never seen you talk about Christianity.
I will name all the videos. Here are the videos on my channel. First one I posted on this channel: Jesus, the Son of God.
Now you're just doing damage control because you never posted anything.
The next video I posted was about Norm Macdonald's, called "The Comedian Who Laughed His Way to Jesus." Then there was David Wood Destroys the Babylon Bee. Then there's why Elvis's final thoughts were about Jesus. Then there's how God destroyed my atheism Christian testimony. Then it's Jordan Peterson on the Christian origins of science. Then what the Quran...
Do you think I'm going to believe you, or I'm going to believe this
Yeah,
football?
you're right. You're right. I don't know why I'm going to read. I don't know why I'm going to read all those comments when I
I
mean
would rather believe football.
this guy's clearly a super genius and can be totally trusted because you know
Football, yeah,
it's the
football.
same. It's the same ideology. It's the same ideology that says we will destroy your church and build our mosque, but you must respect our mosque.
Football, sub football. Yeah.
Footbow. Hey, footbow. I shot him with my footbow.
I shot
That looks
with my
like he. That looked like
football.
he started. He started to name his channel and then like gave up. He gave up mid word.
He's like, oh,
Hey,
I'm tired typing this. It's good enough. I'll just go with that.
all right. So we got some super chats already. Let's read through the super chats and then we will. We looked at the pictures. We will watch a short video, and we only want the most reliable sources there are. So we're going to start with a short video from Al Jazeera. And then once we've got the basic rundown from Al Jazeera on the controversy, then we'll go through the CNN article on what's going on, and everyone can be super informed.
This is
All
the
thanks to us.
this is the best lineup of reliable news here. Yeah. Al Jazeera, CNN.
What's kind of funny is that it's a Christian and an atheist
Uh-huh.
commenting on a controversy between Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well,
It's cool that we could do this. You know what
it's
we
the
need?
best thing.
We need a Jew.
Oh yeah, a Christian, an atheist, and a
That
Jew
would be an
talk
awesome
about
video.
the
Christian, atheist, and
controversy.
Jew talk about Hindu-Muslim controversy.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be funny. All right, Snight posted a super sticker. I wish they'd show the picture. They show the text of what it is. Right? If someone posts
Yeah.
a super sticker, they post a description of what the super sticker is when you click on it, but it doesn't just show you the super sticker. I'd rather just see the super sticker.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Sean with AP's favorite picture there. So that's Ali Dawa. Yeah, we should cover Ali Dawa. There's this. Hey, we should go through the Ali Dawa thing on your channel. He posted this video saying that the UK needs Sharia because otherwise young people aren't going to take care of old people, and that's why you need Sharia. And what's interesting is he says in this video, he goes, "And like real Sharia, which is good. It's not like the stuff about chopping people up that y'all hears about." And it's like, wait, you say it's about you say it, you liar, you chronic compulsive liar. Oh boy.
People, which people? You mean yourself?
Yeah, it's funny. It's they have this they had this method which has served them well for many years, which is just be completely two-faced and everything and change your story all the time and lie, and people will never catch on because people are stupid. And now people start to catch on, and they have no plan B. They just keep doing it. Anyway, Sean here says, I don't think Daniel liked my remarks about his beard during the debate.
Was that you? I think. Yeah. There were these super chats about Daniel just give up. You can't grow a beard or something.
No one should be making fun of Daniel in any way. That man is the world's leading proponent of child marriage, and he needs to be respected for such things.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. He needs to be there so that we can always point at him. Yes.
Everyone in Istanbul knows Hagia Sophia is next. What do they mean next? Like going to be taken back by Christians?
Inshallah.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny. Hey, that'd be funny if like war kicks off with Iran, all this stuff going on with Iran, and then all the troops have to move in. Then they're like, you know what? Since we're over here, let's detour our way up to Turkey.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Turkey happens to be a NATO member, an ally of Western nations, but that is also just it's like the opposition inside that is making everything always difficult. I mean, the Western nations would have it would be great if the Western nations just kicked Turkey out of all of it.
You mentioned that the Hagia Sophia became a museum during a more secular phase,
Uh-huh.
but they became a member of NATO in a more secular phase as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And now they're going in a different direction. It's like, wait a minute, this This isn't what we signed up for. We didn't sign on to protect a bunch of jihadis. Guys, that's the idea behind NATO. It's if you attack one of our nations, you attack all the
Yeah.
nations in here, and we're all going to protect them. And so these guys, hey, we're secular now. We're more like Europe. And we say, okay, then you can be part of NATO because, you're right by. Back in the day, it was basically designed to protect against the Soviet Union, and
Yeah.
Turkey's right there. So yeah, you want to be on the good side with Turkey. Now you don't have to worry about the Soviet Union. Got to worry about Russia a little bit, but now you're dealing with actual like jihadis who are getting in their mind to start rebuilding the Ottoman Empire and stuff. And it's like, hey, wait, we're your protectors now. This is we didn't sign on for this stuff.
Turkey even became a European Union observer state that was supposed to be a candidate and be accepted into the European Union as soon as they meet all the standards. But under this government, Erdogan just after a while said, "Hey, you know what? We don't care about the European Union. I don't
Yeah.
want to adjust our country's laws to be part of that. We don't care. We're better than that."
Yeah, we're superior.
Everything, yeah,
We had
and-
we once had an empire. We
Yeah,
once had an
and the thing
empire.
is, it was America that put effort into convincing European nations to build closer relations with Turkey, because I mean there is even some grievances there where it was America that pushed Germany, for example, to accept a bunch of Turkish guest workers into Germany, because America said. Turkey is a very important country. We have to have them on our side as allies against this threat that we are facing during the Cold War. But now Turkey is like, hey, we're better than all of you.
Yeah, yeah. It's Back in the day, people are pretty short-sighted, right? Similar thing with like Afghanistan and so on. It's we don't like these Russians, so let's make alliances with all these groups that are eventually going to turn on the entire world. Egg Roll here says, "Hi, I'm a Christian with antisocial personality disorder too." Well, that's creepy. Your
That's
channel
nice.
is so great for me to learn how to win every debate with the Muslims in the care sister I'm in. That's good. Sancho, hey, we got some Hebrew here. What's that say, AP?
I have no idea.
Andrea says, not so fun fact. Stores in Turkey now has no Jews allowed sign. Wow.
There are actual reports of such things happening. Photos shared online. It's messed up, man. Turks are crazy. Turks are hateful, racists often, and even the average Turk that is not like a right wing extremist something is quite ultra nationalist, because that is considered a regular mainstream value in Turkey. And when something, of course, happens with the Jews, then especially the religious Muslims go crazy. The religious Turks go crazy.
Christian Fabio with a picture of me says, love how David's whiny voice is the same voice he has for Jenk. Yes, I have the same whiny voice for everybody. Christian Fabio. You should hire Hijab to play a weasel with Farfor. A
weasel?
A giant weasel. Sean says, I wonder what will happen first. The Mahdi will come or Ridvan will answer me on Twitter. The Mahdi, definitely.
The Mahdi, probably, most likely. I would say.
You see, Sir Whitemeat says, you see, you never talk about your own religion. That's right. I prefer attacking. The best defense is more offense. That's what I say. And I got that from Johnny from Cobra Kai. Sid Dave said, Muslims should stop crying over this. Hagia Sophia is of no religious value to Muslims. It is only a mosque to enforce Islamic supremacy. It should be a church. Christian holy sites should be freed. And guys, notice this is what I'm talking about when I say consistency. If it were a situation where Muslims were like, you know what, there was this war in the past and we took this church, but this was built by Christians and we want to be respectful. We want to get off to a new start. So we're giving this back to Christians as a show of good faith and so on. Then we might start taking you seriously when you start complaining about someone doing something to you and so on. But it's never that. It's always completely one-sided. Tolerance only goes in one direction. And we have to be tolerant of you and respectful towards you, and we need to be groveling at your feet and never hurt your feelings. Meanwhile, the Ummah shows complete, utter contempt for everyone else. And
I just can't.
Oh, go ahead.
I just can't talk. I just can't take it anymore. Like we have known that for a long time, and you and I are among the ones who have been calling them out on this whole hypocrisy of where they whine as soon as things turn around on them, and then they're cheerful when they do the very same thing to
Yeah.
others.
Yeah,
But
they cheer for it and brag about it. Ha, in your face, die in your rage, die in your rage. Ha ha ha, we call you die in your rage.
but especially since the whole October 7 Israel Hamas issue, or Israel Arab issue, um, they sold this whole idea successfully to some of the world, to leftists and other useful idiots in the West and around the world, and they're acting like, oh yeah, our side, they're just big victims and all of that. When everybody knows they would have no regard for the other side if they were, if they had the upper hand. We know in conflicts where they have the upper hand, we know from October 7 where they had the upper hand for like for half a day. They had no regard for the other side. They justified everything, every single thing. They justify killing people that they disagree with and that they consider blasphemous, or apostates and things like that. But as soon as you even turn a criticism around toward them, they're like, oh, what is that? Intolerance? Why is the world not speaking up? And you know what? I can't. Every single time that I hear this now, I want to say, you know what? I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
I don't care about your pain. I don't care about your dead. I don't care about these things because nothing on your part is genuine, and you just wish it was the other way around, and you just wish you were oppressing the other side.
Yeah, it's learn to be consistent first, then
Yeah.
complain. Right now, when you're basically said, this is the message I'm hearing from the Dawa guys, from people online. So the message is, you're all garbage. This is what I'm hearing. You Christians, Jews, Hindus, atheists, you're all garbage to us. We will do whatever we want to you. We'll say whatever we want to you. And your job is to shut up and take it. But you must have nothing but complete respect and reverence for us in return, because the Quran says you're the worst of creatures, and that's the way things have to be. Now, protect us. That's it, right? Like now in these areas where we can't dominate and subjugate you and kill you and slaughter you and take your wives and your daughters as sex slaves, in those areas where we can't do what we want to do, the rest of the world needs to come to our aid and rescue us and defend us. No, not happening.
How about no?
How about no? Let's go ahead and watch this short Al Jazeera video.
It makes me want to choose the cow. So
I would choose the cow.
perfect video, by the way. Perfect thing to say while we're talking about Hindus.
We prefer the cow. We prefer the cow, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
It's been just over 31 years since this happened in India.
All right, so that is when Hindus gathered around and started ripping down the Babri Masjid. So, and we're going to go ahead and read about this because the CNN article gives some background. I forget what background she gives right here, but there was a mosque there, the Babri Masjid. We saw a picture of that. Many Hindus believe that this is that there was a temple underneath, that this mosque was built on the site of a Hindu temple. And they believe that this is a special site because they believe it's the birthplace of Ram. And so it's a holy site for Hindus. There was a mosque built on top of it. The Hindus gathered around, tore it down. Then there was a dispute over a long time about what should happen. Should a mosque be rebuilt there? Hindus wanted a temple built there. The court eventually ruled that Hindus could build their temple there, and they set aside a spot for a new mosque. So there's going to be the Hindu temple, and there's going to be the mosque. Notice, there's going to be a mosque. The mosque is being replaced. So the real dispute is just crying over the location. We want that location. It has to be that location. Why? Because we once had something there. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with we once controlled Israel and we have to have it back. And we once had Spain and we have to have that back, and so on.
These are images of Hindu nationalist mobs destroying the Babri Masjid, a 450-year-old Mughal-era mosque in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. This is what the area looks like now as India builds the biggest, one of the most expensive and most controversial temples in the country on the site of the Babri Masjid.
Everyone got the issue? Here.
Yeah.
So on January 22nd, so that's what? That's tomorrow. On January 22nd, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is about to happen.
On January 22nd, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will consecrate the Ram Mandir. The inauguration is creating a national frenzy.
Why?
10 cities are being set up in anticipation of thousands of visitors. Dozens of private jets are flying in India's elite, and the event will be live streamed across the country.
Oh, well, this is a big deal. You hear this?
Yeah.
They got the Prime Minister going, but sounds like people are coming there from all over the world, and they're having to... Yeah, okay. Anyway, sounds like this is about to be huge.
Ayodhya city officials expect 4.5 million tourists a month after the opening.
4.5 million tourists per month. 4.5 million tourists per month. Whatever else you want to say, this is going to be pretty good for the local economy. I'll say that.
The site and the now demolished mosque have been a flashpoint for Hindus and Muslims for over 150 years. Some Hindus believe the mosque was built on the birthplace of a Hindu god, Lord Ram, on a site that was once a temple.
Ooh, she just called him Lord?
In 1984, Hindu nationalist groups, including the current ruling BJP, began a campaign to build a temple on the site of the Babri Mosque. On December 6, 1992, a 200,000-person right-wing mob led by Hindu nationalist leaders stormed the mosque and tore it down.
Do you hear that? 200,000. Because you don't see 200,000 people. You just see a bunch of people gathered around. There are pictures of people on top of it and stuff like that. But okay, 200,000 people. I guess that would do the job.
This prompted national and international protests from Muslims, but in India it turned violent. 2,000 people were killed, most of them Muslim. In the years that followed, multiple cases were filed. The Supreme Court even charged 32 people, including BJP leaders, with criminal conspiracy and incitement of mobs. They were later acquitted. However, in 2019, the Supreme Court made a controversial ruling. The Ram Mandir could be built on the site, and Muslims would be given an alternate site on the outskirts of Ayodhya to rebuild their mosque.
Beast.
All right, so I don't approve of the killing and so on, but you've got a messed up situation and a lot of hostility there. It seems like about as good a compromise as could be reasonably maintained. We're gonna build a temple, and there's a site for your mosque, so there's going to be a temple and a mosque. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the worst thing that could possibly happen.
It seems pretty based.
Yeah. Based.
Critics say that the building of the temple is a victory for Hindu nationalists and a political move to increase Modi's power and launch his re-election campaign ahead of the national polls this spring. India's largest opposition party, the Congress, says they won't be attending the event, calling it a political function for the BJP. Muslim politicians say that it's an attempt to further sideline India's 200 million Muslims who have come under attack since Modi took power in 2014.
Isn't that interesting? It's an attempt to sideline Muslims and marginalize Muslims who just want peace and tolerance. And guys, what do you think? How do you think the situation would be if the numbers were reversed and Muslims had the majority? What would happen to these Hindus?
Of course, the Muslims would give them all flowers and make dinner for them.
And they would be making sure that everyone is treated very respectfully. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we're not falling for it anymore, guys. I think that's the end.
Yeah, I mean, aside from of course, of the obvious, which is the violence and the killing and all of that, everything seems quite fair. And for those who are complaining, I mean, why are you complaining? It's India. It's not Islamic Republic of India or anything, or in Hindustan. It is India. They can do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, following the reasoning that we hear all the time. Now, again, so we said we're not fans of violence. Guess what? I'm not a fan of like taking a big mosque and destroying the mosque. Not a fan of that either. I just don't care much
I don't know.
when
I don't
it's
know.
one group that is whining and crying, and it's the biggest bunch of hypocrites the world has ever seen. The group that is obsessed with. Matter of fact, there's a section on this in Robert Spencer's book History of Jihad, and he talks about Islam as it moved into India. What the Muslim conquerors would do when they conquered an area, they would go to the Hindu temple. They would convert it into a mosque. They would take the Hindu idols out of the temple, smash them to pieces, and sprinkle them on the path to walk into what is now a mosque, so that they could constantly, every time they walk into the mosque, trample on the idols of the Hindus in order to show their contempt for them.
That sounds like fun.
And where do they get this idea? Muhammad was doing the same thing. When Muhammad conquered Mecca, what did he do? Did he respect the beliefs of the people there? No, he took over the Kaaba and he went around. There were 360 idols around the Kaaba. Muhammad walked around with a stick, smashing them and poking their eyes out in order to desecrate them and show his contempt for them. And so that trend continued. That trend continued wherever Islam spread for 14 centuries. Suddenly, when Muslims aren't strong enough or powerful enough to do something, as what's everyone doing against our sacred symbols? Everyone must respect our stuff and our religion and our site and our mosques. And maybe if you had behaved very, very differently for the past 14 centuries, we could take that seriously.
Yeah, but they could have always considered, if we keep doing this, if the trajectory continues.
If the trajectory continues
as it is, then people might do the very same thing that we are doing to them, to us. But no consideration at all.
Yeah, and so notice it's just I guess along the way they really thought they're just going to keep expanding and dominating and conquering, and they're just going to do that until they conquer the entire world. And they eventually get to some people who stop them, and then what happens? They instantly become whiners and crybabies. Oh, poor me, well, guys. Will the rest of the world come protect us? NATO, can you come protect us? UN, can you come protect us? Can everyone protect us?
Please.
Not happening.
What did we ever do to anybody's religion? What did we ever do except respect them?
Nothing but respect.
Yeah. Muhammad also respectfully destroyed those idols. You misspoke earlier.
He did it. But you've seen this when so that's how Muhammad treated that's how he treated the idols of the polytheists. Stabbed their eyeballs out, smashed them with sticks, and so on. Mm-hmm. Hagia Sophia, biggest Christian church in the world, center, heart of the Christian world. Let's take it and turn it into a mosque. Temple Mount, most important site to Jews. What's going to do? We're going to build a dome of the rock there, and put a big mosque there too. That's how we're going to show our concern for other people. And then what happens when we take one little bite out of the Quran? Remember what hijab was? We Muslims would never insult the sacred symbols of other. What planet do you live on? Right? It's like and by the way, he knew. Because when he had to justify some other things he was saying, he's like, look at how Abu Bakr responded to a polytheist. He said, go suck the clitoris of a lot, right? So he says, go perform oral sex on your goddess, right? Oh, but we would never insult the sacred symbols. He knew it was false. He also knows that there are tons of morons out there who don't know any better who actually fall for this. And that's what it looks like right now. This looks like the Dawa guys and the propagandists. They are counting on people being stupid forever, and we can just keep pretending that we're the tolerant ones here, and the world's going to fall for it. And it's starting to look like the world is falling for this less and less as they catch on. You know why? Because you guys run your mouths 25 hours a day, and then you claim to be victims.
To be fair, like Mohammed Hijab might view the whole issue of when somebody says go suck your the clitoris of your goddess, he might just perceive that not as an insult, but rather as a pleasurable thing toward the
Yeah,
goddess. So,
that's true. It's like when he asked. It's like when he asked one of his fellow Muslims if he can suck on his wife's tit. Remember that?
exactly.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
also just a nice offer.
And by the way, notice the connection. Notice the connection there, right? Notice the connection here. Abu Bakr shows it's completely acceptable to use that sort of language, and then Muhammad, the prophet, says if anyone brags about his lineage, tell him to go bite his father's penis. That's how they're taught to talk. And then you get down to Muhammad hijab, and he's having a disagreement with someone, and he asks, "Can I suck on your wife's tit?" And this is. The Ummah loves him for it. The Ummah loves him for being a good example of what real Islam is. Let's see. One of Daniel's fans was upset with my super chat last time, so here's more money. Poor Daniel. We're not even talking about Daniel, and everyone's talking about Daniel. What's going on with Daniel? He seemed his fans have seemed a bit more quiet since your debate. They normally run their mouths. I haven't heard a peep out of these guys.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Anyway, Muslims are the one group common to all religious conflicts all over the world. Jews in Israel, Hindus in India, Buddhists in Thailand, Myanmar, Christians and atheists in Europe, Nigeria. Any reason why? Yes, because Islam is the truth.
It's because of Islamophobia. This just shows that Islam is true.
The disease of Islamophobia, you see. Junaid says, finished. Is that why? Oh, this is a response to the other guy who said Christianity is finished. Finished. Is that why Indonesia went from 2% Christianity to 10%? Iran has roughly 2, maybe 3 million Christians. I must be monumentally naive. Not sure I agree with Hindus destroying a mosque and building a temple over it, but I do know I'm not losing any sleep over it and couldn't care less, to be honest. And that's kind of my position. If you said, hey, there's a mosque over there, should it be destroyed and something built on it? I'd be like, no, I don't think so. Just refute Islam. Focus on refuting Islam. But if someone does it, it's not like I'm going to care about the whining that follows it. Oh, look how we're wait, they just did what you've been doing for 14th century and are still doing and are bragging about doing. And then you tell everyone to be sympathetic towards you. No, I'm not. No, you can't do that. We cannot encourage your hypocrisy. That's what you're saying. You're saying that the rest of the world needs to encourage and reinforce your complete, utter, total moral hypocrisy. Consistency, not being a hypocrite. That's sort of the bedrock foundational principle. It's the price of admission to the realm of ethics. It's the price of admission. You're saying we're not paying that. We're not paying. Okay, then you're not entering the world of real ethics here. Don't lecture us about ethics anymore because you're not. It's like saying I want to do philosophy and I want to do logic. But I believe contradictions are fine. I can contradict myself. Okay, then you can't do it. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. If you do not accept the principle of non-contradiction, you can't do logic. You can't do philosophy. It's not going to work.
Yeah. If somebody asked me, hey, we're going to take down that mosque and build a temple on top of it, should we do that? I would say I don't care. But.
And I would say, it's a different situation depending on the area that you're in. If it's like, the United States and so on, and, there's a mosque and they're not bothering it. If it's India and these guys are still obsessed with terrorist attacks and stuff like that, okay.
I don't care where it is, everywhere.
You heard it here, folks. AP doesn't care.
Yeah. But if they came and said, hey, we're going to take the Kaaba down and put something else, on top of it, I would say, yes, without losing any time. Let's do this right now. Yeah,
I don't care about. I just want the black stone. I want the black stone for myself.
That's good.
I'm gonna make little pendants out of it. And
the whole thing is already completely shattered. So.
I'm going to sell them. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You can bang it up into more pieces and stuff, and then sell little necklaces and stuff, little trophy necklaces. You know what I
mean? Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Let's see. Fareed made a new response to your response, responding to his response, responding to your video, and you were humiliated, destroyed, but not vibrated. Good to know. Yeah, I'll watch Fareed's response one day when I'm super bored. Muslims turned Hagia Sophia and St. John Cathedral into mosques. It's okay. Accusing Christians turning mosques of Cordoba into church, which was a church. Yeah. Oh, and so, yeah, notice, so you got the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. No, that's for Islam. There has to be a mosque there. You've got the Kaaba. That was a pagan religious site, taken over, becomes the most important site in Islam. Hagia Sophia, other churches. But then in places where you don't necessarily have a center of like a religious, like in the United States, there's no, this is the religious spot. There, you don't have that spot. You do have an economic center. That was the World Trade Center. That was the economic center, right? What do? Take down the World Trade Center. And then what? What do they try to do after that? Try to build a big mosque there.
Mm-hmm.
Try to build like an 18-story mega mosque. Yeah. And then people objected. Oh, it's so Islamophobic. Wait! Destroying something and then building a big religious site of the group that destroyed it. That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. Yeah, there's zero concept. If we heard tomorrow that in some Muslim country they just said, hey, we don't like this church being here anymore. It's pagan Christianity, and destroyed it and built a mosque, you'd hear cheers from the Muslim from the Ummah around the world. Isn't it weird? It's weird stuff. Guys, learn the concept of consistency. It's it's not hard to grasp. Ridvan, why don't you correct David that G in Turkish is silent?
It's not even Turkish. Wait, what are we talking about? Which Turkish? Which G? So the only thing that we are, did you say Erdogan earlier?
It's Erdogan.
It's Erdogan, yeah. But so the only thing that is happening here would be the Hagia Sophia, where that would be Greek.
Oh yeah. I'm talking. Yeah, guys, I'm not talking about the Turkish pronunciation. He's giving the Turkish pronunciation.
No. I'm actually the Greek pronunciation is actually. I think the most accurate Greek pronunciation would be like.
It's Hagia Sophia.
No, it's Hagia Sophia. It's like
no, it's not. They have an H. Yeah, it starts with an A that has an aspirate breathing that makes it an H. What's wrong with you?
No, wait a minute.
No. Keep.
It's very soft G.
Keep in mind, I'm reading the word and giving it the classical Greek pronunciation. If modern Greek pronounces it differently, I do not know. And I know they do. They even pronounce letters differently, like classical Greek. Alpha, beta, gamma. Today they say alpha, vita, gamma, right? And so they pronounce things differently. But yeah, I don't know what it would be.
It might be what I have in mind might be the contemporary, the current Greek. I don't know.
Yeah, the stupid corruption of the language. Okay.
But the Greek pronunciation that I know is with an emphasis on that soft G. It'd be like a Hagia Sophia, something like that.
Yeah, and here you have Sean thinking that the names of Greek places have to be pronounced in Turkish.
Yeah,
how are we even having a discussion about the Babri Masjid when we have bigots right here telling us to pronounce the names of churches in Turkish?
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, gosh.
How about let's have some Greeks come in here. They will probably take this very, very seriously.
Greeks will come in here and be like, thank you for defending our language and heritage.
Oh, they will be like, you are not right. Both of you, behave yourselves.
Erstwhile, Babri Mosque was built on an area that for Hindus has special meaning.
Hey, look at that.
What?
Demetrius Zahariadis said AP's last attempt was near perfect pronunciation. Did you see that?
Nope. Don't care.
Hagia Sophia. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Hagia Sophia.
No, it's just soft.
Now now again the gamma now is gamma alpha vita gamma. What the heck is that? Guys, be more forceful in your language. Gamma pow. Erstwhile, Babri Mosque was built on an area that for Hindus has special meaning. Mir Baki, who was a military general of invading Islamic army, destroyed the temple to build a mosque on exact spot 500 years ago. Yeah, that's the dispute. So some people are, and I don't know. I'm not gonna, I'm not just gonna, I'm not gonna say, well, I agree with that because that's, yeah. So I don't know. There are some people who say that was built on the site of a temple, and there are others who don't. I don't know if I could get to the bottom of that by investigating. But I agree with AP's point. I don't really care as far as people, as far as the Dawa guys complaining. In other words, you don't need to defend that to us. You don't need to say, that was a temple under there. We're kind of saying, given how these guys act in the rest of the world, we don't really care.
Beautifully said. Powerful stuff.
Forrestal Bubba Gumpf concluded, Islam is what Islam does. Start. Oh, this is supposed to be like the discussion between Forrest Gump and Bubba. Islam is what Islam does. Start running and keep running away from Islam and women named Ginny. No comment there. Not even trying to be offensive, but Daniel Hakikachu seems autistic. Good job on the debate, AP.
Thank you.
Autism can help with certain things. That I don't know if that's correct, but that might explain why he kind of normally like thoroughly prepares responses to everything the person does. But if you get him off that, he kind of falls apart. Yeah, don't know.
Hey, I know this is extremely important, so I'm looking it up right now. It's like in classical Greek, it is agia. Usually you're correct. Whereas in modern Greek, it's aia. So
yeah,
it's fun.
So we're right. We're just using different.
Yeah. That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
The Hebrew super chat is that Hebrew earlier when we saw it. It says the Hebrew super chat is a translation of leather strap surah.
That's good.
Mahdi is sitting there. He's sitting there watching Netflix like AP. From the river to the Kaaba, we will turn the Kaaba into church. AP, inshallah. If the trajectory continues. Muslims have destroyed places of worship of all other religious people and replaced them with mosques. Imagine how those groups must have felt. That's the point. Notice it's, and you will see this in the article we're about to go through, but the emphasis is on imagine how this is making them feel. Imagine, look how this is hurting their feelings. And it's like, have you looked into this at all? On what planet is there any concern from within Islam about other people's feelings? Where? Like, show me that. Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Alhamdulillah.
Yet if they posted signs like that about black people or gay trans, the SJWs would have a field day. Signs like what? What were we talking about earlier?
I think not allowed for Jews and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Jews not allowed.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, and
Jews
you see, I don't know if it's just a joke or what, but you see they open in like a cafe called Hitler or something like that. And
there's this thing.
I think that was in like Gaza or something like that, or I don't even know where that was. I just saw people sharing it, so I don't even know what the background is.
Yeah, there's a store in Gaza, which some clothing store, which a guy opened, and he called it Hitler too. And there's even an interview from back in the day where the guy is interviewed and is asking, so why did you do this? And he says, well, I named it Hitler because Hitler really, he didn't like Jews, and I like him because of that. So,
wow. Guys, again, these are the people who want us to be sympathetic towards them.
Literally celebrating the guy who proudly and happily wanted to exterminate the Jews and crafted a plan to go all over Europe and round up the Jews and get rid of all of them in order to create a pure, in their understanding, Europe. That is the guy that they are admiring while now asking for our sympathy for them.
Not an Islamophobe. My fear of Islam is 110% rational. Thoughts on the AfD party in Germany, AP? Do you care what happens in Germany?
Yeah, the AfD is it's called the Alternative for Deutschland, Alternative for Germany. It's a party that came into existence like in the I think around 2010, and it's skyrocketed since then into popularity. It is a right wing, anti-immigration, Eurosceptic party that is just this came out as like, you know what, we are sick of your conservative politics and your liberal politics and all of your nonsense. Finally, we're going to represent the people, and it is a party that came into existence without appealing to like neo-Nazi stuff, which is why it took off instead of being just completely demonized and trashed. And it looks like they are going toward becoming part of the government and possibly even becoming the most popular party. I don't know. The thing is, as much as I'm against Islam, and as much as I think over the last years and decades things have really gone too far, and Europe has rightly gone like shifted toward the right very much on things. As much as I like to see a pushback by Europeans against this whole, oh, let's be open to everybody, let's take everyone in, let's let them do whatever they want. As much as I want to see an opposition to that, I'm kind of worried about these very, very, you know, strict, sharp right changes, because we talked about this before, right? With these with things really going wrong and the feelings of people disregarded, there might be an overcorrection in politics,
Well,
which might lead to bad consequences, and that we don't want to see that.
yeah, and you always have political leaders who say, okay, here's something that lots of people are concerned about. Let me jump on that.
Mhm.
Use that to wiggle my way into power. And oh, by the way, here's all the stuff I really want to do.
Yeah.
So it's all, yeah, you always have to watch out, because you can have a politician who says, hey, I need to support the people here. I need to look after the people, and what's happening to them is wrong, and I'm going to do my best to help them. And you have people who, aha, here's a situation that I can seize upon to gather more power for myself to do the stuff I really want to do. And so, yeah, it's just, I have no idea about political parties in Germany and so on. So it's kind of that general rule. Try to figure out who's authentic and who's not, and listen to what people are actually saying. And don't just listen to them on this issue you agree with them about. Listen to what else they want to accomplish and see if that's a good idea.
Can't trust humans.
Yeah, especially ones who are Holocaust deniers like AP.
Yeah.
Taking over a church reminds me of the Al-Aqsa being built right on top of the site of the two Jewish temples. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure does. It was the birthplace of Lord Ram, and there was a temple which was destroyed by Muslim invaders in the 16th century. They unearthed temple remains under the mosque. Millions died for this cause in the last 500 years.
Allegedly. So as far as I see it, there is no that is not entirely historically proven. It's just
Yeah, so that's what that's my view. I know people are claiming that. It's just I would need to see something before saying, "Oh, yep, they're absolutely correct." Hey, Village Boys, we have rebranded, but this is Goat Hub. Goat Hub, the most popular site in Pakistan. Goat Hub.
Wait,
Hey, Village.
it turned from only goats into Goat Hub.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they've got good graphics and stuff there that are sure to get lots of clicks in Pakistan. Hey, Village Boys, we have rebranded, but just remember, use code Hooves50 to get a slippery 50%, but the price will stay the same.
That's nice.
Ravinder says, Din Ilahi, Persian divine faith, and elite eclectic religious movement which never numbered more than 19 adherents, formulated by the Mughal Emperor Akbar in the late 16th century AD.
Yes.
Familiar with that?
Yeah, there was a brief a reconciliation attempt by the Mughal emperor of the time, the Muslim emperor, who really went against Islamic tradition and against the Islamic scholars scholars and attempted to create a new syncretic religion that is like a mix of Islam and Hinduism, called Deen-e Ilahi, which is the divine religion. But it wasn't popular. Islamic scholars condemned it, but it's just known in history as such an attempt.
Sid Dave said, I think Jews should give Al-Aqsa Temple Mount to Muslims as long as Muslims return the Kaaba to Jews, since Kaaba was built by Abraham. Yeah. Sadly enough, they're not going to agree to that because they're going to say Abraham is not Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Harold says China did the right.
Abraham was Palestinian.
He was Palestinian. China did the right thing and built public bathrooms over the site of a mosque. That would be pretty rude.
That's pretty.
Goat is greater than all other farm animal. Just ask Village Boys. And let's go ahead and jump into this article. Let me read this. Sheikh Yogi Bear says, it is reported that Justinian, upon seeing the Hagia Sophia, said, Solomon, I have outdone you. Thus, I think Modi should visit this temple and say, Moguls, the eyes are the leather strap of the anus. That would be the perfect move.
The perfect move. Did he actually say that? Solomon, what? I outdid you. I've outdone you. That's
no idea. Heard it here for the first time. All right, let's check out some of this article here. So now we have CNN. If the trajectory continues, let's see. So anyway, there at the top you see, I think that looks like the ongoing construction now. And so, New Delhi, CNN. I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron flags are flying in the majority Hindu town of Ayodhya as excited locals prepare to host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the inauguration of a new multi-million-dollar temple.
Nice.
Based. We should say based after everything. But like many of the town's 500,000 Muslims, that's a lot of Muslims, 65-year-old Maulana Badshah, I'm going to be butchering these names, by the way. Never insult someone for mispronouncing names. I'm laying that down as a rule. Never insult Mr. T for his mohawk, and never insult someone for pronouncing names. It's
Maulana Badshah Khan.
Maulana Badshah Khan says he'll be staying at home. He fears a repeat of the religious violence that erupted more than 30 years ago when Hindu nationalists destroyed the Babri Masjid, a 16th century mosque, triggering riots across the country. And I have to say, I would like to not see riots across the country. On Monday, Modi
will... Did you say Nazi riots?
I would like to not see Nazi riots. I would like to not see...
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
On Monday, Modi will officially open the Janmabhoomi Mandir. That actually sounds. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but it even with me mispronouncing it sounds kind of cool. Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir. Hey, let's go to the Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir. That sounds cool. On Monday, Modi will officially open the Ram Janmabhoomi. That's cool. Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir, a lavish temple built on the same site that analysts say is a monument to Hindu nationalist ambition. Khan says he believes. By the way, isn't it interesting that? I mean, I'm sure this is definitely connected to Hindu nationalism and so on. But that always gets massively emphasized, that any resistance to Islam is some sort of right-wing nationalist movement.
Hindu right-wing extreme. They don't really do the same thing with. I want to be fair, but I don't. You're right. We often see this whole thing. Like when we talk about India, for example, it's always like Hindu nationalist interests, Hindu nationalist, pleasing Hindu nationalism. You don't usually see that very same description when Muslims do something that is so controversial.
Yeah. Ummah nationalist stuff.
Yeah.
Khan says he believes the celebration is a clear sign of the trajectory of how Muslims are becoming marginalized under the leadership of Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. And they're worried that if the trajectory continues, that all mosques will be replaced by Hindu temples. The wounds of Babri Mosque's demolition will always be there. Oh, here you go. Hey, check this out. Feelings. The wounds of Babri Mosque's demolition will always be there, but not the wounds of building a mosque on the Temple Mount, or the wounds of taking over Hagia Sophia, or the wounds of taking over the Kaaba and stabbing the eyes of the idols. No, those wounds don't matter. All that matters is our wounds will
You know
always be
what's
there.
insane? There's like speaking of that, there was recently a post where some Jewish woman from America with, I think, like Sephardic roots or something, I don't know, went to Israel to visit Jerusalem and took a selfie of herself with the the dome in the background, and just wrote a very nice sentimental post about like it feels it's so beautiful to be here. This was once the holiest site in Judaism, and so on.
I saw that.
And then a bunch of people bashing her in the comment section, and somebody says something
That really stupid guy.
like, something stupid like, excuse me, how can the third holiest site in Islam be the holiest site in Judaism? Make it make sense, or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
and then it was making it sound like, oh, you guys want to take this for your holiest site from Muslims who were there first. It's like, what has happened in the education system? There should at least be like 1 or 2 pages of actual historical background that are taught to students. You don't have to take any side on any issue. Just give a little background about the history, because people are that clueless.
You know what they actually do? In Gaza, Hamas actually tries to make sure that that people there are taught that there never was a temple, and that this is a Zionist lie, and that they are just making up this lie to destroy the Al-Aqsa and the Al-Aqsa compound and all of that. This is actually something that they try to teach people. You can even see this in some kids shows by Hamas, where they're like, children, what do we know about this? Of course, there never was a temple. This is a Zionist lie.
Yep. Wild stuff.
Insane.
So, just keep in mind the wounds, AP. The wounds of Babri Mosque's demolition will always be there, even if we feel despondent about voicing them. We don't want to talk about how much this hurt us. The temple holds the symbolic value of showing the Muslims their place in New India. New India. Now they're calling it New India. Based. Fear and anxiety. Yeah, imagine how people feel when Islam conquers them. Probably lots of fear and anxiety, but we're not supposed to care about that. In fact, it's just the opposite. Only a racist and a bigot would care even slightly about the feelings of people who are conquered in the name of Allah. Only a racist, Islamophobic, hate-mongering bigot would care about the 12-year-old girls who were, drugged and raped and gang raped and pimped and so on. No one should care about those girls. We should only care about the feelings of Muslims whose mosque was destroyed back in the 1990s. More than 7,000 people have been invited to Ayodhya to attend the ceremony in person, including high-profile politicians who are flying in from across the vast country to take part. And tens of thousands of pious Hindus are thronging to the small town to place flowers and gifts inside the temple. Amid these increasing crowds, there is apprehension among Ayodhya's Muslims. Every story has to revolve around the feelings of Muslims. Just keep that in mind. Azam Qadri, the 39-year-old head of a local religious body, said that those who lived through the 1992 violence fear the arrival of outsiders. They think these 7,000 people who are invited are coming there to slaughter them. Every time people come from outside, there is trouble. Wait. This guy is in India saying anytime people come from outside India, there's trouble. You mean like invading Muslim armies, bud? Every time people come from outside, there is trouble. One cannot afford to lose their precious belongings, savings, or identity papers anymore. It is not easy to restart your life again. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing Muslims never did that to Hindus at all. It's never happened.
They would never do that.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. What is this? This part of the Babri Mosque? Attack on the wall of the 16th century Babri Masjid mosque with iron rods at a disputed holy site in the city of Ayodhya in 1992. That's a cool name. Haji Mahbub. Haji Mahbub, who's got a world-class zabuba. Haji Mahbub, who lost... What's wrong with you laughing at someone's name? Haji Mahbub. What are you laughing at? What's wrong with you? I'm trying to read a story here.
I'm so sorry for laughing. I shouldn't laugh.
It's a serious story. This guy lost 2 relatives in the 1992.
They're disrespectful.
Haji Mahbub, who lost...
Stop
You're like a
laughing.
little kid, man.
Stop laughing, man.
You're like a little kid who lost 2 relatives during the 1992 violence. Said local Muslims are worried the emboldened crowds will chant provocative slogans against... What are they worried about? Slogans.
Oh, no.
Provocative slogans. Oh, things like La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. When we're told that only a racist would be at all concerned. Even if a guy's like comes up with a suicide vest and starts screaming Allahu Akbar, you're a racist if you are at all concerned. This reminds me, you familiar with Aziz Ansari?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah, so he's a comedian, not really familiar.
I call him, oh geez, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's so Aziz Ansari. So I mean, I like the guy. He's funny. I saw him on that show with Ron Swanson. He's on that show with Ron Swanson, Parks and Recreation. So I saw him in there. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. I have nothing against him. But there was this article by him in the New York Times that would actually be worth revisiting. But it was about how racist people are in being suspicious of Muslims after so many terrorist attacks. And then he goes into this article about after 9/11, because his mother heard about someone who was, saying something bad about Muslims, she was terrified to go out of the house, and she's super, super worried about all these people. And it's like, wait, how do you not actually get this? If you got guys flying planes into buildings and someone says, hey, I'm a little concerned here, you say, racist. But your mom can hear about someone who did something else, and then she can be suspicious of all non-Muslims.
That's cool.
And be worried about walking outside because of all the non-Muslims out there. How does that make sense? How do you not see that, right? Aziz, you're funny. How do you not see, like in other words, if you wanted to say, hey, if certain people or a group of people attack, do not be remotely suspicious of anyone else in that same group ever. If you actually wanted to take that seriously, you should be blasting your mom there and saying, Mom, why would you think just because of what some person did in some supermarket on the other side of the country that you need to be suspicious of walking outside because there are non-Muslims there? There's just no concept of anything remotely resembling consistency. And you see the exact same thing here. Oh, some Hindus are coming to town. We're worried. They're going to be shouting things. Oh my goodness, we're so terrified of that. If it were a bunch of Muslims coming to town who are going to be shouting Allahu Akbar and down with Hindus and death to America and all this other stuff, only a racist and a bigot would be at all slightly concerned about that. How, Mahbub? How do you not see this, Mahbub? Haji Mahbub?
It's so funny. In the West, if somebody says, "Oh, a bunch of Muslims are going to come here," I'm really worried about what's going to happen. They'll be like, "Whoa, what the hell? Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say something as racist as that?"
Yeah. And guys, do you actually? I mean, we want people to absorb this point. This guy's saying, "Hey, a bunch of Hindus are coming to town." No, we have a right to be terrified. If anyone anywhere in the world said, "Oh, there are a ton of Muslims who are about to come here," and you said, "I don't know. I mean, given the track record of the grooming gang stuff like that, I'm a little concerned." You'd be a racist and a bigot. They're totally fine if a Muslim does that. They're totally fine if a Muslim does that to a Hindu. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. Let's take a couple super chats here. Chloe says, "Yes, the Christian is host. Yes, the Christian is hosting. That's me. I can give more money to my fellow Christian. Christians for the win. I'm at work. We'll watch later." AP, why are you stuttering?
How dare you?
Good point. AP keeps stuttering. Super sticker. Lemon character and baby lemon, and they still won't just show us. Ecamm just won't show us. Does it do that on StreamYard too? Do they show the sticker?
Yeah. It just says super sticker. It doesn't show what it actually is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fix your system, people. Emmanuel, Matthew 7:2. What measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Is there any teaching about do not hold double standards in Islam? Yes, no. But it's kind of towards fellow Muslims. They do have I have seen in the Hadith a kind of a version of the golden rule, but it's towards your fellow Muslims. It's not towards non-Muslims. Notice how many times David says notice. No, notice that you are a horrible person, Luke, for pointing something out. Notice how many times David uses the word the. Shame on him. Piyush Kumar says the mosque was built specifically on the site of the most revered temple to shame Hindus. The violence.
That's an interesting claim, but yeah, we would have to have evidence for that. Yes.
Yeah. Piyush, try to send us an art if there's actual good, solid evidence. We know there are claims. And those claims might be based on something. If you have something where it's like definitive, this is the proof, please send that to us. We'd be interested in that.
There's no such thing.
The violence was started by Muslims, beginning with the bomb blasts in Mumbai in 1983. Hindu right wing retaliated, sadly killing Muslims. Yeah, and that's an ongoing problem. That when jihadis keep pushing, then people eventually react, and then the jihadis start whining. Oh, look what they're doing! They're responding to what we were doing to them. It's the end of the world. Arya V says, Hindus consider temple idols as living entities. They're fed and bathed like people, so destroying the idols was purposefully done to demoralize us. Yes. Smashing the idols and sprinkling them on the ground so you trample them, yeah, that was making a point to you about your beliefs. And keep in mind, you're supposed to have nothing but respect for their beliefs in return.
That's true.
Who is the random guy next to Super Genius?
Which random guy?
You're the
He's
random
probably
guy.
talking about himself.
Okay. Sid Dave says, birthplace of Jesus is controlled by jihadis. Gandhara region of Afghan and Pakistan, which was the center of Buddhism, is today controlled by Taliban, said. Yeah, and notice we want to control Bethlehem. We want to control the Temple Mount. We want to control everything that is in any way significant to anyone else in the world. And then
the whole world belongs to Allah.
And then moan and cry when we don't get our way.
The world belongs to Allah. It is an actual Islamic sentiment, an actual Islamic idea and doctrine that Muslims are supposed to spread the religion, conquer left and right, invite, subjugate, and so on. And once they hold that land, and once in that land Islam is established, and once the adhan is called out and a place of worship is built, then that place is from then on an Islamic land, no matter what happens. Even if in the future Muslims lose control of it and it goes to a different religious group, Muslims have the obligation, according to the traditional Islamic way of thinking, to take that land back eventually, and that is considered rightful because it rightfully belongs to them in the eyes of Allah, which is why they will always see it as just to take other people's places of worship and turn it into something else as much as they want to. But once you do the very same thing to them, it's like, no, how dare you, this is unjust.
Yeah, guys, I just have to point out, AP is a prophet. He says so. And the other AP told me the other day he had a dream that he flew on a magic donkey monster and flew to Mecca and stood on the Kaaba.
Yeah.
And so, guys, you have to hand it over. It's just ours.
I also peed on it, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need it. We need it for a public urinal.
Yes.
I would fly to Mecca every day just to pee if I.
That's good. That's fair enough.
Here you have smoke
this
bomb.
This is my religion. I pee on it.
Being inconsistent. It's what they do. It's funny. They replaced urinating on one another. It's what they do with being inconsistent.
Yeah.
Hey, check out this genius. Hey, they're talking about Hinduism and the story about mosque and a Hindu temple and why Muslims, since they don't have the golden rule and are and adhere to nothing but hypocrisy, and they're talking about foundations of ethics and the future of humanity. So let me run in there and try to cause division. David, say that pagans will go to hell. Yeah, better luck next time.
Why are you trying to depict Arya as a complete nerd here? When just asking a simple question, David. Where is your consistency, David?
I love the people who come in the not just in the comments. That's standard, but actually come in the super chat and like, let's try to derail this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, just so you know, Arya, we have a discussion of hell in a super chat. I mean, in a live stream. When was that? 2 months ago or so, with me, the Apostate Prophet, and Inspiring Philosophy. You can check that out. Josh says, being that there is power in the name of Jesus and Islam was started by a demon, would this be why they changed Jesus' name to Isa, because they couldn't stand hearing it read out loud? So notice you're actually saying it's like done deliberately, unless you're saying demons did it so that people wouldn't actually be pronouncing the name Jesus. Yeah. So I mean, there are theories about why Jesus is called Isa in the Quran, and not because, keep in mind, Isa is not the Arabic version, is not the Arabic equivalent to Jesus. So you have theories about why he is called Isa, but yeah, you could always argue that was the demon that is inspiring this stuff couldn't even bear to say the name Jesus, and so changed it because he didn't like actually hearing it.
There is a theory around. There are some people who covered this in detail, but there is a theory that Islam simply adopted the wrong pronunciation and the wrong spelling of Jesus from pre-Islamic Arabia, which got it wrong along the way when they adopted that name from Greek and not from Hebrew, or not from Aramaic or Hebrew, but from Greek, where they didn't get it right, which is why they reversed the letters. It is the Isa. It doesn't make sense. It is supposed to be reversed. There should not be a guttural sound at the beginning, the R sound. That should be at the end normally, and the beginning should be a regular standard Isa. And yeah, that's one of the theories, is just that it's the ignorance of hearing it from a different language first and adopting it the wrong way. But then there are other theories that this is a name that actually refers to somebody else, and so on. It's a lot of stuff, but it just shows how Islam is very, very distant from the actual.
Yeah, you can actually look into it and get a ton of different theories. Some of them to me seem stupid. Like some of them were. One theory is that the name is just changed to make it sound closer to Musa, for paralleling Musa and Isa, and so on. That make them sound similar for because it sounds good. That one sounds ridiculous. You're just going to change a name to something else because it sounds better in certain verses or something. So there's that. There's the theory that this is actually Jesus's like real name, his real like heavenly name according to Allah. And so you've got that. The two that I think are most plausible were one that has a Jewish origin, and then, as AP is pointing out, the Christian origin. So the idea that it has a Jewish origin is that Isa is actually Arabic for Esau. And so one theory is that Muhammad's talking to some Jews who don't like Jesus. And you can see that the people that Muhammad was talking to, like in Surah 4, they're making fun of Jesus and so on. So there's a theory that they actually call him Esau to insult him. And Muhammad doesn't know any better, and he thinks that's just what Jesus is supposed to be called. And so he adopts it. So that's one theory. And then the other theory is, as he put, actually, once you go through Greek, where Jesus' name is Iesus, and that you can kind of get to Isa from that by going, transliteration to another language and so on. But point is, no one really knows.
Yeah, we only have theories. Mm-hmm. I always find the whole thing funny, the interactions between the Jews of Medina and Muhammad. I just imagine it like after everything that we have learned, after everything that we read from the Hadith, I imagine the Jews of Medina just I don't know, using interactions with Muhammad for amusement and thinking
it would have been pretty hilarious.
Such an idiot, such a moron.
Hey guys, Muhammad's coming. We got some questions for him. Oh, yeah. Hey, Prophet. Hey, can you tell us what the first meal of paradise is going to be? Yeah, will you tell us that? Yeah, it's funny.
I will let you know.
Oh, I'll let you know.
I'm getting inspired now.
I'll be back. I'll be back in a few weeks. I'm going to go wait for my revelation, talk to some friends. James is tired, says, my two favorite Christian speakers, D. Wood and AP.
Nice.
Thank you both for the holy work you do. And AP, God loves you and is waiting.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Check this out. Piyush here, Kumar again. There are 40,000 ancient temples that were destroyed by Muslims. Our early secular governments introduced the Places of Worship Act that Hindus can go to court to reclaim them, except this Ram temple to please Muslims. That's interesting. If there's actually like secular government said you can go get these places of worship backed. B. Amit says, Ayodhya Temple of Hindus is the Solomon Temple of Jews. Muslims had stolen it and we restored it. Now time for Jews to restore Solomon Temple from the occupying Al-Aqsa Mosque. Curtis, and then we'll read this one, then jump back into this article here. I know this is off topic, but I need to know what the Quran says and where that the Bible is the truth. Curtis, check out my videos on this channel. There's one called it's called something like, you can just scroll. I don't have a ton of videos, like 25 videos or something like that, 35 on this channel. But scroll through and find the video. It's called something like 99.8% of Muslims don't know the Quran says this about the Bible. Also check out my video, what the Quran really says about the gospel. And keep in mind, those are just, now in that one, what the Quran really says about the gospel, I go through every single time the Quran even mentions the word gospel and read it in context. The Quran never does anything but support it. But keep in mind, all of this is like introductory because this is throughout the Quran. And maybe since Fareed responded again to the Islamic dilemma stuff, maybe we'll go through that here in the coming weeks because, as terrible as Fareed's responses are, it is good to keep going through this stuff until people start catching on. All right, so where were we? Mahboob. Oh, this is still Mahboob is continuing. Okay. They will call, so this is at the top here. They will call for Muslims to be expelled from, so notice he's saying, hey, these 7,000 people are going to come. They're going to start chanting slogans. So what are they going to do? They will call for Muslims to be expelled from Ayodhya or demand a Hindu Rashtra nation, he said. AP, what did Muhammad say about Jews and Christians in the Arabian Peninsula? Do you have any idea?
I will expel the Jews and Christians and leave none but Muslims.
Isn't that weird? And apparently that's fine and good and wonderful. So Muhammad can come along. Keep in mind, Jews and Christians were in the Jews, Christians, and polytheists were in the Arabian Peninsula before Muhammad got there. Muhammad gets there. hey, Islam's a new religion. The polytheists had to be violently subjugated and forcibly converted. Jews and Christians had to be, well, in some cases, exterminated, like the Kureza Jews and so on. But the rest of them, even those who submitted, even those who became dhimmi, they had to be expelled from the entire Arabian Peninsula. And that was perfectly good and wonderful. What's this guy? So notice, if Hindus did say, nope, Muslims can't be here, that would, how would you as a Muslim complain?
Yeah.
You complain because you are aware of people's ignorance, that people don't know about what your religion's been doing for 14 centuries. And you're depending on that. But we're not going to let people remain in ignorance forever. Mahbub said there is now a sense of hopelessness among his community. It's so weird. Now we're feeling like they must have felt, but now we care because it's us. Wild stuff. Many Muslims.
Hold on, David. I want to correct one thing here.
You
No,
better not be
I don't
correcting me.
know. No. I want to correct myself actually. So,
Ooh.
I don't. As said, we pointed out at the beginning. I don't know too much about the whole history of this region and this mosque. So, from what I read before, from the very little bit that I read before, my impression was that it is simply a claim that there was once a temple at this place, and that is the dispute. And but there is no real evidence that there might be some historical revisionism at play and all of that. However, and I want to say I'm completely trying to approach this from a very ignorant but learning point of view. But as I'm reading at the moment, I see that despite the fact that there is no proper evidence to show that there was a temple before, it doesn't even matter whether there is historical evidence for that or not, because one thing is known, which is that when the mosque was first built on this site, it was already considered by Hindus to be a holy site where they believed Rama was born. So because of that, it doesn't matter in the slightest. It doesn't matter one bit if that is actually such as if Rama was actually born there or not, whether there was actually a temple there or not. What matters is that Hindus revered this place and considered it holy in the past, but Muslims came, took that holy site, which Hindus revered, and just built a mosque on top of it. You know, you see what I'm saying? It's like we could, regardless of whether something actually stood there or not, Hindus considered it holy, and Muslims basically violated it by building a mosque on top of it.
And for anyone who's worried about the feelings involved, just keep in mind, in Islam, you could just say, no, our prophet, with no evidence whatsoever, just said he had a vision where he flies to the Temple Mount and on a magic donkey monster. Therefore, that location is ours for all time, just because that's what we believe. We believe it's ours because of that, and the entire world is supposed to go along with that. Okay, Hindus believe that their site. What do you want to do about it? Hindus believe that's their site. Notice, and keep in mind, if Hindus believe that is a very important site, is that a very important site to Islam? That's not. Keep in mind, we're not talking about the Kaaba. We're not talking about the mosque in Medina. We're not even talking about the Temple Mount. We're talking about some place way on a different part of the world, in a place where you've got tons of mosques, and they're even giving you a new location for a mosque. Why are you glued? Why are Muslims absolutely obsessed with that particular location? There's nothing about that location that is significant to Islam. There's a reason that location is significant to Hindus. Why are you upset? If Hindus say, hey, that site is very, very important to us, can you have your mosque over here? You say, no, we have to have that site. Why is that site important to Muslims? And the answer is, it's important to Muslims because it's important to Hindus. That's why. We want to dominate your site that is important to you, just as we dominate the site that's important to Christians, just as we dominated the Kaaba, which is important to pagans, just as we dominated the site, the holiest site to Jews. We are obsessed with controlling the sites that are important to other people. It makes us feel really important and big, and it makes us feel like our God is giving us victory over you. That's why we have to have that.
Yeah. So yeah, so I don't with this knowledge that I only just acquired, that I'm only seeing now. I mean, there are early records, much older records than than the building of the mosque, which show that Hindus took this place very seriously. With this information that Muslims actually just came and built a mosque on top of a holy site. Surprise, surprise! Another case of Muslims doing that. I would say, yeah, Muslims should be quiet. you know, the Hindus would have every right, in my opinion, to do whatever they want with this place, even by their own by Muslim standards.
All right, let's focus on Mahboob now.
Alhamdulillah.
Mahboob said there is now a sense of hopelessness among his community.
You're doing that on purpose, right?
I'm doing what?
Mahboob said.
Mahboob did say that. Get your mind out of the gutter, atheist. Many Muslims believed that in 2019, when the Supreme Court granted Hindus permission to build the temple on the contested site, the controversy might come to an end, he said. But instead, emboldened Hindus began targeting even more mosques across the country, campaigning to tear those down too. The Hindus cannot stand us, Mahboob said. They cannot see us. What can we do? Can't see me. They can't see us. Is it? By the way, I mean, I seriously can't get my mind around the level of hypocrisy. If this situation were reversed, if it was jihadis tearing down more Hindu temples and building more mosques, I don't know Mahboob, but I would guess that Mahboob would be cheering, just because that's what I see all day. Anytime this gets brought up, hey, what about Hagia Sophia? Oh, die in your rage, it's hot, ha ha! Yes, Islam will dominate the world. You'll be trembling. We're going to go door to door, giving you the options of convert to Islam, pay us money, or die, ha ha! Yeah. Okay, well, people are getting sick of your mouth. Oh no, guys, you kids on college campuses, will you rally for us? It's pathetic, guys. It's freaking pathetic. My goodness. The Hindus cannot stand us. I wonder why. They cannot see us. What can we do? Hey, step number one, Mahboob. Learn to be morally consistent. And, of course, you might need to leave your religion for that, because your religion doesn't exactly give you a basis for moral consistency. The rise of Hindu nationalism. Let's do a couple super chats real quick. The rise of Hindu nationalism. And there you have it. There's the culprit. Hindu nationalism is always the problem. Not 14 centuries of jihad, slaughtering unbelievers in the name of Allah, subjugating the entire world. The problem is Hindu nationalism.
Well, that was just. So
just ask Mahboob. David the Goliath says, Hindu, Buddhist art owe a lot to Europeans. Greeks who invaded India converted to Buddhism and Hinduism and built the first human images of Buddha, Hindu gods and goddesses, which was inspired by Greek art. Sarah from Al Aqsa TV. AP, you wake. Oh, here's a question for you, AP. AP, you wake with two buttons in front of you. Press one and Jews bomb Al Aqsa and rebuild the temple. Press the other and the Kaaba goes boom. Whichever you choose, the other will never happen. What do you do?
Whoa. That's a difficult one. Which other you choose, the other will never happen. Which one you should? Okay. So two buttons.
Can we qualify this? Can we qualify this, Sarah, by saying that there is no one in there at any time, and no one is going to be at all injured by this? It's just the building. There's no one around. No lives are actually at stake.
That's good. That's a good thing to
add. Because
so,
if people were going to die, I would have a different reaction to this.
Same. Press one and Jews bomb Al-Aqsa, rebuild the temple. Press the other and the Kaaba goes boom. Whichever you choose, the other will never happen. Well, I would say I would choose.
I would choose the cow.
I would choose Jews rebuild the temple, because if you do the Kaaba thing, the Muslims could always just rebuild it, and
And besides,
go on with it.
Besides, we don't want the Kaaba to be destroyed. We want it as a public urinal.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't serve my purposes. I want to pee on it.
Yeah, we want that entire area turned into a giant Walmart, and the restroom to be an intact Kaaba.
Yeah, precisely. Hope you're happy with my choice. Thank you.
Piyush Kumar says the international reporters not even try to be balanced. Yeah, they don't. They don't. They're always going to. It's interesting because when they think about anything that happens in the West involving Islam, they think of it as white racist versus. They think of it as white racist versus brown Muslims, and that's the root of the problem. That's the problem there. And then if it involves Jews, then it's Jews are the problem. And then note if it's Hindus, then okay, it's brown and brown. So and they'll go after Hindus. It's like they always come up with an explanation for why people have a problem with what Islam does. And it never involves, hey, we just have a problem with what Islam does, right? We have a problem with what Islam does. And guess what? Any society, any group is going to have a problem with what Islam does because Islam is constantly coming to subjugate them.
It's because of the Yahud.
Hosta said, the great Ali Dawah humiliated you in debate. You're finished, boy. You're both sick. That's right. Ali Dawah sat there eating grapes. I've never seen Ali Dawah in an actual debate, but in the one debate he actually showed up to with you, he sat there and ate grapes right in your face.
In your face. After he challenged me to come and debate in Mexico.
What? We got to come to Mexico, yeah? And I was going to wear a sombrero. To this day, the Al-Aqsa Waqf digs up ancient archaeological findings from the ancient Jewish temples and grind them into gravel. Yeah, that is one of the coolest archaeological sites in the world. And what do they do with stuff? Talk about what happened to the Christian populace of Bethlehem after the moderate Palestinian Authority took over control from Israel. Yep, numbers have been plummeting.
It's because of the beauty of Islam. They have all been converted to Islam because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so Bethlehem was a Christian majority town just a few decades ago. Now it's not anymore. Similar to Lebanon. Lebanon just a few decades ago was a Christian majority area. No, it's not anymore. It's weird because we keep hearing from Muslims that, hey, everything is great under Islamic rule and no Christian wants to be under Islamic rule ever. Isn't that weird? I don't know why.
Yeah.
Zainab, the real Zainab Al-Harith says, hey guys, noticed how lately Hikachu keep posting on X a bunch of BS about Judaism trying to deflect from pedo prophet. Yeah. Absolutely. Ridvan, seriously answer me on X. I want to help you with the Discord. This guy's trying to help you with Discord and you're ignoring him because he has a picture of Ali Dawah kissing Muhammad Hijab.
Yeah, that's why. I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
okay.
Hey, check this out. We've got a Zoroastrian here, a mosque in Afghanistan. A mosque in Afghanistan is built on top of our prophet Zoroaster's grave. Muslims took over every Agiari and Atash Baram. Thank you, Hindus. You saved Zoroastrianism in India. Glad you got your Mandir.
Atash Bahram.
Don't correct me.
How dare you correct me?
This one says, you see? Oh, you see? Just spelled differently. This is a mosque now. What's a mosque now? This is a mosque now. Oh, and that math is mine. That engineering marvel. Isn't it wonderful how many inventions Islam has? Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go through a little more of this article here. The rise of Hindu nationalism. Now you guys are going to see the source of the problem. The source of the problem is Hindus not wanting to be violently subjugated in the name of Allah. If everyone just agreed, if everyone simply agreed to be violently subjugated and to become second-class citizens and to be executed or to pay jizya or something like that, everything would go fine. So everything is our fault. The rise of Hindu nationalism. Modi rose to
Well,
power.
there is a thing that is, I have to say, it is actually the fault of Hindu nationalists. Most of what is happening here, considering that, the Hindus back in the day before Islam existed built their holy sites and everything where Muslims would later come and conquer. So they should have never done that. It's of course
Yeah.
their fault.
Hey, Hindus, why didn't you anticipate? Like, matter of fact, it's not even that you would, it's not even something you could anticipate. Because the reason the conquering Muslims wanted to build them there is because the Hindus built them there. So if the Hindus had even built them in some other place, the Muslims would then want those other places. So what you should be asking is, Hindus, why did you ever build places of worship knowing that jihadis are going to show up and want to turn those places into mosques? So it's your fault. Shame on you.
Yeah, exactly. Beautifully said. Powerful stuff.
All right. So Modi rose to power in 2014 with a pledge to reform the country's economy and usher in a new era of development. But he also heavily pushed a Hindutva agenda, an ideology that believes, what are you laughing at? You think the Hindutva agenda is something to laugh at? An ideology that believes India should become a land for Hindus. Isn't that weird? You can have like, hey, this Saudi Arabia is for Muslims. These are Muslim countries, but it's like Jews. They can't have their own spot at all.
You can't have that.
No,
only
Muslims are allowed to say this is ours, and other people, if they're here, have to be second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Many states have passed legislation that critics say is rooted in Hindutva and discriminatory towards Muslims. Discriminatory. Like fight those who do not believe in Allah? That's weird. Including laws that make it increasingly difficult for interfaith couples to marry. Isn't this funny? So they're talking about laws for making it difficult for interfaith couples to marry. AP,
Yes.
why is that even a thing in India? Like, why are they concerned about interfaith couples? Is it because of something? Is it because of an odd form of jihad?
I don't know. It kind of sounds like some prejudiced people might say that that Muslims engage in, marrying and thereby converting and spreading Islam.
What they call love jihad?
No. I would never. No, I would never suggest something like that. But some Islamophobes suggest that is the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some Islamophobes say that there's this thing going on where Muslim men get Hindu girls to marry them, and historically in Islam, by the way, this has been a thing in Islam because they view it as taking over the reproductive capabilities of the enemy. Mm-hmm. And so people caught on as their daughters are falling in love with these Muslim guys and so on, and said so they made some rules. Whether you're for it or against it, notice they don't include any sort of reason why. It's just, oh, look, the Hindu government is oppressing Muslims, and they don't explain what the rationale is. Because if you understood the rationale, you might agree with it or disagree with it. But if you just hear they're making it difficult for interfaith couples to marry.
And by the way, so among Muslims, it is extremely bad and unacceptable to marry Muslim women off.
Yeah, the Quran,
as they call it, to non-Muslim, to pagans, especially to
the Quran. The Quran makes it difficult for interfaith couples to marry. And banning the slaughter and transport of cows, an animal considered sacred to Hindus. Notice now they're condemning them for making laws about doing something that is extremely offensive to their religion. Mm-hmm. How is this standard not applied in Muslim countries? Notice, so if these guys were to be consistent, if the author of this article were to be consistent, in Muslim countries, if they say you can't eat pigs because that's offensive to us, the response should be, oh, shameful that Muslims are enforcing laws about what's offensive to them. but it would never cross their minds. It's, of course, there's going to be laws about what's offensive to Muslims, but Hindus are supposed to keep their mouths shut. An animal considered sacred to Hindus. And one of Modi's key promises to his voters was to build the Ram Temple on the desecrated mosques site. And he's hoping its construction will firm his chances for a rare third election win this year.
This is a CNN, right? This is CNN, right?
Yep.
Yeah, typical.
Powerful CNN stuff. Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, author of The Demolition and the Verdict, a book about the 1992 mosque demolition, said Modi's decision to preside over Monday's festivities is a sign of Hindu hegemony in India. Modi's involvement in the ceremony is indicative of how the line between the state and religion is becoming increasingly blurred. You mean just like in Muslim countries? That's weird. Mukhopadhyay added, the sentiment among Muslims is not one of celebration. The sentiment of Muslims is not one of celebration. Of course it's not. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought, oh, they're building a Hindu temple, we're going to celebrate. Why are you? I don't know.
We're checking if they're celebrating or not. We don't know.
Hey, are Muslims celebrating? Oh, they're not? Oh, let me report that in the news.
Interesting. I don't know
that
why.
That needs to be on CNN. He has heard that Muslims are advising each other not to travel by train, not to drive cars alone, and not to wear clothing that identifies them as Muslim. This is weird because if there are a bunch of terrorist attacks carried out in the name of Allah, and you become at all concerned about your safety while traveling around, you're a racist. And yet here are Muslims saying, oh, they built a temple. We all need to live in fear. And don't travel by train. Don't drive cars alone. Don't wear clothing that identifies you as a Muslim. It's so dangerous. From who? I'm trying to figure out some consistent basis here. If you want to say, hey, given things that happened in the past where Hindus have had violent encounters with Muslims, therefore we need to be afraid. Okay, why can't people be worried about jihad and the spread of Islam? Why? Tell me why.
Very racist. That's very racist. I don't know why you're asking this question. It's very racist.
There is going to be immense sadness. There we go.
Oh no!
You have to feel bad for their. It's their feelings.
Oh no!
There's going to be immense sadness. And there's also going to be tremendous fear, sadness and fear among India's Muslims, he said. Sadness and fear.
No.
Sadness and fear among India's Muslims. Sadness and fear, sadness and fear, sadness and fear. Just like sadness and fear over what happened at the Temple Mount, just like sadness and fear about Hagia Sophia, just like sadness and fear.
That's Islamophobic and racist stuff.
As Muhammad is going around stabbing the eyes of the idols. Sadness and fear, sadness and fear. Oh no, the only sadness and fear that matter are Muslim sadness and fear. That's what we keep hearing from CNN. Speaking to CNN, BJP spokesperson Nalin Kohli said Muslims are not being marginalized in India and that the inauguration of the Ram Mandir is a cause for celebration. In terms of Prime Minister Modi's government work, initiatives, and developmental agenda, not one scheme, program, or anything distinguishes between Indian citizens on the basis of religion, caste, or region, he said. So there's actually nothing in the law that marginalizes Muslims. Unlike Sharia, which definitely makes it a legal obligation to marginalize and subjugate non-Muslims.
I mean, the neighboring country, which split from India, Pakistan, is explicitly and openly discriminatory in their laws. But hey, let's worry about how India conducts things. Right?
All right, couple super chats here. Piyush here says, look up. Hey, look this up, AP.
I'm not looking it up.
Look up.
Don't tell me what to do.
Janmabhoomi Masjid, where ancient Hindu-style pillars are still visible under the mosque.
Oh yeah, well that's it seems is proven to be the site of Vishweshwar temple devoted to the Hindu deity Shiva. Huh. Okay.
All right, got to give it back to Hindus or Muslims. You got to give that back to Hindus, or don't ever expect us to take you seriously when you're saying anything about taking back any land that was taken from you at some point.
Oh, what is dedicated to Allah belongs to Allah. Alhamdulillah.
Farfor's leather strap says, I'll just leave this here. The advantages of being a man in Islam, featuring Yasser Qadi, episode 2, timestamp 248.
Huh. Nobody
Should
will
check
know
that
what
out. Is that an actual Yasser Qadi video? Is it making fun of Yasser Qadi? The advantages of being a man in Islam, episode 2. Far right are racist to ex-Muslims as well as Muslims. Just so you know. Super chat from Rollers. Remember,
Oh, that's an Islamic sources for you channel video. I see.
Well,
I see. Okay.
oh, nice.
We'll check.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Yeah,
We'll check
we got to do some live streams where we just go through everyone else's videos because we have a lot of people here making videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Sheba here says, "Remember, boys, it's not bestiality if the shepherd approves." Yes, that courtesy, that lesson courtesy of Farid. It's not. How can it be rape if the parents consent to you boning that little girl who doesn't know what's going on? Sid Dave says, China, Russia are supposed to be friends of the Muslim world, but they really, truly know how to deal with this Islamic ideology. Example, Chechnya, yeah, Uyghurs. Yeah, once you... Muslims have kind of been spoiled by interacting with the West, where you can actually, like... You can actually come and say, we're going to subjugate you, we're going to enslave you. And then if anyone responds in any way that so much as hurts your feelings, then politicians and the media and educators and entertainers all rally around you to protect your little feelings. And guess what? There are places in the world where that won't work. Where people...
Yeah.
Yep, so...
We both said before though that we don't really agree with how China is doing.
No,
things.
I don't. No, they're torturing, and there's stories of torturing and raping Muslim girls, and they just, oh, you're a Muslim, and they take you in there and keep you in a cell and bring in guys where they can pay to bone you and stuff like that. And no, not a fan.
Plus, it's not because they're like, oh, Islam is a bad religion, and we know this, which is why we must suppress a Muslim group. No, to them it's about the disloyalty and because they want everyone to let go of anything that disrupts their communist China ideology, which is why they are cracking down not only on the Uyghur population but also on different minorities, like certain Christian ethnic minorities, for example.
Yeah, they're communists. They want to get rid of religion, and so their main goal is to get rid of religion because religion stands in the way of the flourishing of their fantasy communist utopia. They would love to do the same thing to Christians. They just feel they can kind of sell it a little better with the Uyghurs because there have been terrorist attacks and things like that, and so it's a little bit easier to sell. But so anyway, not going to say, oh yeah, great job, guys, rounding them up and putting them in concentration camps. Nope, don't. I'm not a fan of communism any more than I'm a fan of Islam.
And as for Russia, no, I don't even want to speak.
Screw Russia. Ari here says, if the trajectory continues, the third eye of Shiva shall forever and always be the leather strap of Mojab's anus. What the heck are you talking? Why are you talking about Shiva? It's pretty rude here, man. Sheikh Yogi Bear says, Sheikh Yogi Bear says, yes, Justinian truly did say that epic line. That's interesting.
Nice. I need to look into that.
Justinian was based. AP, the future pastor of the Black Gravel Church, the Kaaba.
Oh yeah.
AP,
there will be a special practice where I urinate on it.
AP, if they came out and said, "Hey, if AP converts to Christianity, we will turn the Kaaba into a church, and AP will be the pastor," would you go for it?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Now we know Now we know what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see AP become a Christian, you know what you got to
It's that easy, man. It's that easy. Yeah. See?
do. From the river to the sea chant is pretty provocative, so I say cry about it. Yeah, a little. It's pretty provocative. It's weird that they don't care about. And it, we're talking about the Temple Mount and stuff. But I mean, just think about how people like Ali Dawah are going around and treating just Jews, just walking up to there's a Jewish center over there. Oh, let me go and harass these guys. They don't care about anyone's feelings. They don't care about anyone's feelings except their own. So how is it that whenever anything happens that could possibly hurt a Muslim's feeling, that we are actually supposed to, the whole world is supposed to sympathize?
I'm saying it. I said it. I even said it during the debate. It's like, I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care about your appeals to have some sympathy and so all of that. But with everything that is going on with their entire hypocrisy, which they have been displaying so much now, and especially so boldly with this whole conflict, just leave me alone. Don't come to me with, oh, what about all the people of Gaza? I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
Ari here says, scrap Mojob. It's now officially Moboobs. He does like to shake. He does like to shake them. CJ says, Hindus are no less than Muslims. They are radicals too. The current BJP party brutally beat pastors in India and burned churches in something. Christians, Jews, and Muslims in conflict. Hindus quietly built temples in New Jersey and India. Okay, I didn't understand some of that. You do have persecution of Christians in India,
Yes.
depending on the area. I've heard from Christian, when I've talked about this in the past, going through statistics on persecution, I've heard from Christians in Hindu areas saying, what are you talking about? I've never had one problem. I've never had one problem with a Hindu at any point in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. And at other times, whenever I'm talking about Hinduism and Islam, I will hear from Christians saying, "What are you talking about here, man? They're messed up towards us too." So it seems like it depends. On the region, but I have to say, pretty irrelevant to what we're talking about here. We're talking about a dispute over a site that is important to Hindus, and based on if we were to hold our Muslim friends consistent, then we should say, wait a minute, you guys, that's a site that's very important to them. And if it's very important to them, you always expect us to respect sites that are very important to you. Then we have to side with them. But it's not. It's, hey, look, that site is important to them, but we don't care. We want it. And it's ours. And we took it, so therefore it's ours forever because we took it. Oh wait, so if you take a place, then it's yours forever, and you don't have to care. Even like, the point is, there's no consistent basis, and the world kind of cannot move forward until people get their mind around the fact that this is complete, utter, total hypocrisy and inconsistency. That's what we're talking about here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, when it comes to Hindus in India, that is why I kind of decided to stop at some point to talk about India issues, because it's way more complicated than just one side doing something to the other. And I got a lot of messages from Christians and others as well, and also saw videos, including of Hindus, for example, justifying it or celebrating it or being okay with it, where Christian groups were oppressed over rumors, or where Christian preachers were beaten or even killed, with the excuse that they are trying to spread Christianity by lying to Hindus. And then when you ask, how is that a justification? It's not like they're going and killing people. It's like, well, we just don't want it because this is the one country that we have, and we have Hinduism here. We don't want you to take our, we don't want you to change this country into your own religious belief and stuff like that. And there is a lot of injustice. There is a lot of violence also coming from the Hindu side. You can see that very, very often. And I know some people will be like, no, that's not true. It's a lie. But when you see the evidence, when you see the videos and you call them out and you ask, okay, why in the world did this here happen, for example, people will often just justify it. And so I can't, with any, I don't know, clear conscience say that the Hindus are totally fantastic and all that. There is
Yep.
a lot of intolerance on their side as well.
And with me, there's also an added thing, which is actually it's similar with Israel. It's similar even with the Palestinians, in that I can kind of get my mind around a reason for a push in a certain direction among Hindus. If you're Hindu in India and you're looking around the world, and you're like, wait, Muslims have 49 countries where they're the majority. Christians have a ton of countries where they're the majority. Can we have like one little spot here? Can us Hindus have like one little spot down here where you guys aren't constantly trying, with Christians aren't coming down there trying to subjugate them and so on. Although you've had interactions like that in the past, which were more economic, but Christians want to go and what Christians actually want is to go and preach the gospel to every Hindu there. Islam actually wants to subjugate the population, wants to take over and subjugate. That's the goal of Islam. But I just have to say, if I were a Hindu and I was looking around, I'd be like, God, you guys have most of the world. Can we have one little spot right now where you guys don't come and constantly bother? So I kind of get it. It's similar with Israel. It's like if I were a Jew in Israel, and I'd be like, okay, Muslims, you got 49 countries. Everyone else has all these. Can we have one little spot here? But also with the Palestinians, it's like, hey, I get you. I get being upset. I get, hey, there's this way more powerful nation right beside you, and whenever some terrorist goes and does something, then they start dropping bombs. I get being ticked off. So I can kind of get my mind around people's positions. But don't go with Hamas. Just don't go that route. You can be concerned. You can not like that group over there. You're still responsible for how you react to being in that situation. Same thing with Israel. You're responsible for how you react. I get it. You guys, Israel's surrounded by people who want to conquer Israel. I get it. You are responsible for how you react to that situation. Hindus, yes, there are Christians who want to preach the gospel to you. There are jihadis who want to conquer the land. And so that does not mean any response. That doesn't mean every response you could give would be justified.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that sentiment completely. I understand, like, you think you take your values as a certain group very seriously, and you think this is the only one that we have. Nobody should be attempting to change this, and you take that very seriously. Of course, to the other side, this is a matter of religious obligation on their part to, convert the other side, or it's a thing of compassion to the Christians who go around. This is like they want to spread the gospel to it. That's a very, 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 a very central, very great Christian way of thinking. On the other hand, the Hindu way of thinking is just, no, we want to preserve this land, which means so much to us. But then Christians don't do anything that is like, Christians are not going around threatening and killing and beating people. The worst thing that Christians are doing there is just to, preach or to give people food and say and leave a note about Jesus and stuff like that. That's the worst thing they do. And to equate that to the radical Islamists, for example, and to use it as justification to attack them and all of that is very messed up. And things like these are happening. That said, of course, I completely think that when it comes to the conflict between Hinduism and Islam, Hinduism is in the right, and Islam has been the oppressing force for many, many, many centuries. So what you get today as a reaction from the Hindus against the Muslims is the reaction and is the consequence of that whole oppression. But even there, you can go a little bit too far. And I can often see when I look at even Hindu posts and the videos that they themselves share and celebrate, I can see that a just response from Hindus might often be considered very much too far from our perspective, for example. And I just can't celebrate it. When it comes to Israel, I can't say anything negative about Israel because Israel pays me, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you heard it here, folks. Hindus, be nice to Christians who just want to preach the gospel. but be concerned about jihadis and atheists
Yeah.
spreading nonsense in your land.
Yeah.
Hosta here says, I would really like Mike Winger if he wasn't such a nerd. Actually, you can like nerds. I mean, people liked Urkel, right? People liked Urkel. People like Napoleon Dynamite. These were like super nerds. So if you can like them, you can like someone who's even nerdier, like Mike Winger.
Yeah, or inspiring philosophy, for example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Allah seems pretty invested in petty land wars. Yeah, and he does he did a bang up job of conquering for a little while, and then just sort of I don't know, got old or something. You remember that hijab clip? Well, why didn't it work in Europe?
Well, because
it's a miracle. The Islam conquering lands are the own show that it's the truth and that Allah's with it. Why didn't it work in Europe? It didn't work there. It just didn't work.
It was successful there.
Allah's not God there. Allah's only God over here. Former PM Pakistan Imran Khan gave pass to China to oppress Muslims. Yeah, lots of. I mean, I think even
I think so too.
didn't like some of the Palestinian leaders meet with China and gave the thumbs up to.
Yes.
Yeah, I recall that too. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So much for and you could just see the reaction if there are no Jews involved. It's like with all the protests on college campuses and stuff, and you don't see nearly the same reaction. You'll occasionally see a protest or something like that but I mean, they actually have like concentration camps over there that they're putting Muslims in. You don't see nearly the same reaction that you see to something that involves Israel or something that even involves like a cartoon. Someone draws a cartoon. Oh, it's the end of the world. Like, wait a minute. They're putting Muslims over there in concentration camps. It's like the Dawagandists understand whining won't work with China. We can whine all day long. It's not going to work with China. So let's go have our rally, not accomplish anything except making some YouTube videos to make it look like we're concerned. But other than that, we're not going to try it over there. We're not even going to try it. It's not going to work. It'll work over here. It'll work if we're complaining about Israel, and it'll work if we're complaining about cartoonists. It works over here. So let's focus over here.
To be fair, Mohammed Hijab was one of the people who did something for the Uyghurs when he stripped
butt
naked.
Yeah.
And said, "You are a prostitute."
Yeah,
that's what he said to China.
It reminds me of that group. I don't know what they're called, like Femin or something like that. But they'll show up and just pull their shirts off. Hey, look, you're doing something we don't like. Ha! Here's our boobs. Check out my boobs, right? And Hijab's like, that does seem to get quite a bit of attention. How can I make that work for the Ummah? I know. I'll strip butt naked for everyone. Ha ha!
I will let them look at my boobs.
My name is Sean, says, in Islam, every land that wasn't conquered by Muslims is called Dar al-Harb, which means land of war, and is meant to be conquered. By the way, yes. I learned that from Dr. Mordecai Kidar, which for the millionth time, I suggest you guys will invite. We don't know who that is. Big Rig 0485 said, so it's an illiterate demon AP.
Yeah, it is.
You heard it here, folks. It's an illiterate demon. Hey, Chloe, I thought you were at work. What's going on? Oh, I nearly forgot. I ordered a Mickey Farfour costume, so expect some more Farfour skits this time. Live action. Oh, that's going to be good.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very, very nice.
Used to be a Buddhist country. Impossible. Would still be. Jesse says, 80 million Hindu lives ended by Islam in 1400 years. Yeah, I'm not sure about the exact numbers and so on, but yeah, you're talking about millions of Hindus. What, according to you, would be credible evidence? Archaeological remains of the temple at the very site is credible enough. I can share the copy of Supreme Court verdict that reference these reports from archaeologists. Yes, there's a question of what would be credible evidence to us, but it's basically, there are remains of stuff beforehand, and Muslims are saying that was actually mosque before that mosque was built and so on. And so, yes, credible organization that's not from, yeah, it's like, let me put it this way. You can find a story that says pretty much anything, especially in instances where it's like a hot button issue. It's just like, I mean, right when the Israeli-Palestinian war broke out again after October 7th, you start getting all these stories and you're not sure what to believe because it's very easy to send around fake stories or stories that were put out by some organization, but is that organization biased in their findings? So I don't know exactly what we'd be looking for, but something from, if you're saying that you have solid, unbiased archaeologists drawing conclusions based on evidence on a respected site or something like that, yes, we'd be interested in that. Send it to us. The bell here says Muslims don't need a mosque destroyed to cause problems. That's true. All this just provides justification in their minds. An attack on Cologne Cathedral that was to happen during Christmas Mass was foiled. Fits over 10,000 people. We're not even safe in our churches. Just cry in your rage. That's what they would say to you over that. You're an Islamophobe. I didn't invent Alan, but used Alan in my video. Then AP used it. I did invent on the Karen of Maccas. That's Aussie slang for McDonald's. On the Karen of Maccas.
Nice.
They call McDonald's Maccas in Australia?
They do?
I did not know that. Here in the U.S., we just call it Mackie D's. All right.
Mackie D's.
This article can't be too much longer. We've been reading it for a while. The new mosque. Okay, so this is telling us about the mosque that's going to be there. Right there. What's the complaint? They're giving you a mosque. In the years following the demolition of the Babri Masjid, Hindu nationalists rallied to build the Ram Mandir on the site of the destroyed mosque, setting the stage for an emotional, you got to keep in mind the emotional, and politically charged showdown that worried Indian liberals who feared more outbursts of sectarian violence.
So?
That 2019 judgment that paved the way for the building of the Ram Mandir also allocated land for the town's Muslims to build another mosque, some 25 kilometers, about 15 miles from the Ram Mandir in a village called Danapur. Mahbub, yes. One of the most voluptuous petitioners who fought for the Babri Mosque in the Supreme Court, said for most Muslims of Ayodhya, its construction does not hold emotional sway. You heard it from Mahbub.
Nice. Pretty based.
If they built the mosque close to where Babri stood, we could have tried to convince ourselves that injustice was not happening to us.
Just tell them to stop crying. It's that easy. Just stop crying.
Yeah, and Mahbub, just apply the exact same reasoning to Muhammad kicking out the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula where they had lived long before him. Try to apply it to the polytheists and how they were treated. Try it. You just tried it. You can't. I'm saying try to be consistent. You can't. It's impossible. You could not justify any complaint about what Hindus are doing if you had any concept of consistency. If they built the mosque where blah, 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 however, this land is so far away. And over that, the construction has not even begun. So what do we say? You can say, sorry for upsetting you guys so much by what we did for so many centuries. That's what you can say. That would be a good start.
I'm so sorry.
Late last year, Arafat Sheikh, a member of the BJP, was appointed to lead the construction of the mosque. Arafat Sheikh is a member of the BJP, was appointed to lead the construction of the mosque. He told CNN that he had never stepped foot in Ayodhya before he took on the role. He said that the delays were due to disagreements about the design of the building but believes the new mosque will be unique as it will be the first in India with 5 minarets. Whoa! Game
5 minutes.
changer. Game changer. It's going to be unique. It's going to be the first one with 5 minarets. If you want to be unique, just go to one with 4 minarets and add one.
Oh.
Amongst other ambitious plans, Sheikh says he wants additional land for educational institutions, a vegetarian kitchen. What? In a mosque? Vegetarian kitchen? And a 21-foot...
Oh my.
You see the priorities here? Hey, check this out.
A 21-foot long Quran.
Oh, why couldn't Mahboob be saying this? It had to be for this other guy. I want Mahboob saying it. Amongst other, here we have the ambitious plans, ladies and gentlemen. Amongst other ambitious plans for this mosque, Sheikh says he wants additional land. You need more land. You got to have more land. For what? For educational institutions, a vegetarian kitchen, and a 21-foot long Quran.
Wow, that's what the world needs here.
Which will be painted saffron, a color closely associated with Hinduism, but one that has become increasingly politicized and appropriated by the Hindu right. So he wants a big Hindu colored 21-foot Quran.
Wait. I don't even understand the language there, which has been appropriated and politicized by the Hindu right. What in the world? It is a Hindu traditional.
Yeah, he's saying that it's a Hindu thing, but it's becoming more of a Hindu right-wing thing. They're taking advantage of that color, and so he's responding. Well, we're going to make a 20-foot long Quran with the same color in your face, guys. That's your color, but we're going to make a 21-foot long Quran.
But the whole language there, which is like the Hindu, the right wing appropriate. What did the word say?
Appropriated. They culturally appropriated the thing from their own religion.
It is their own religiously sentimental substance and color which they use. Of course, the ones who take that religion and culture very seriously and that way of life very seriously will adopt it and use it. And how in the world is that an appropriation? I don't even get it.
I think we're missing the larger picture here. They need a 21-foot long Quran, AP.
Everyone needs that.
With that special color. I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. They call me Mellow Yellow. Right. All right, so 21-foot long Quran. If you heard anything else, like 21-foot long Nathan's hot dog in this awesome eating contest or something like that. But no, you need this 21-foot long Quran. Then they can be like, ha, and you guys built your temple in your face. We got a 21-foot long Quran over here. What? Everyone come and check it out. Wow. Priorities, right?
All I want is to eat a 21-foot long Quran.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Once they build that 21-foot long Quran, then someone's going to ask you if you will eat that whole thing. Sheikh said the color was chosen because Gharib Nawaz, a famous Sufi saint, also revered saffron. It will bring the two communities closer.
Yeah. Wow, man.
If we make our 21-foot long Quran this color, that's what's going to melt everyone's hearts, and then Hindus and Muslims are all going to live in peace forever. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Worry not, right? Dear Muslims, because we now have a 21-foot long Quran with saffron.
And why isn't everyone else using that same method? Why isn't Hamas saying, you know what we really need? We need a 2-mile wide Quran that's the color of the Israeli flag. See? And that'll fix everything.
Problem solved. End of conflict.
Wow.
It was that easy.
Wow. All right, a couple super chats here. Even India and China hate cancer. Incredible.
What? Why would they do that?
Jasper said, there are two kinds of men, maboobs men and leather strap men. That is true.
Yeah.
Shake Maboob. That would be funny if he was a sheikh. And he'd be Shake Maboob. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake my boob. He'd even, hey, shake. Hey, my boob. If you become a sheikh, I'll do your theme song, man.
I really need a partner for Shaky Booty, whose name is going to be Shake Maboob.
Joshua says, Islam is diametrically opposed to the truth. Earlier, I watched your brother in Christ and El talk to Chat GPT about Muhammad. I say make Chat GPT the global imam. Have to check that out. Himmy, comment here. Goat Hub says you can find Maboob on the site. Goat Hub. You can find Maboob on the site. Bad, bad, bad boy. Hindu right-wing Bandrangnal had killed my relative, a Catholic priest in Orissa. Next is Christians. So the idea is if the legitimate concern is that if Hindus become more aggressive, then this is also going to things are also going to get worse for Christians and so on. I have to point out, you could be entirely concerned about that. And what does it have to do with this? Yeah, we're talking about a specific situation here. There's a site that is very special to Hindus. Since it's special to Hindus, the jihadis want it. That's why they wanted it to begin with.
The jihadis want it.
Yeah. Hey, how do you guys feel about the Shroud of Turin? I don't feel anything about it. You could ask me what I think about it.
What do you think about it, David?
Yeah, not sure. There are interesting features. There's some really, really weird stuff going on with that thing. But I can't say I'm convinced that it's the actual burial cloth. But I'm not convinced that it's not either. So I've seen some interesting things about it, and I've seen some responses to those things. But yeah, I'd have to look into it quite a bit more.
The true face of David Wood exposed.
It is weird. It's just, if you look at the shroud, it's just sort of some faint brown markings and so on. And then a dude took pictures of it. I think at the end of the 1800s, he took pictures of it, and he looked at the negatives, and the negatives look like a photograph. So the actual image on the shroud is the negative. Like, that is the negative. And you take a picture, and all of a sudden it becomes a picture when you look at a photographic negative of it. And so anyway, it's just weird that you ended up with that. That's one of the things. It's like, it's weird that you ended up with that apparently by accident, because no one, if you were making this or for whatever use it was back in the day, you wouldn't be thinking, oh, in the future they'll take a photograph of this and the negative will show what an awesome image this is. So yeah, not sure. Hemi says, when the BBC asked India why they are not taking sides in the Ukraine-Russian war, they said the West sides with Pakistan, knowing it is the epicenter of terrorism. Why is the West like this?
Fair point.
What do you mean? We can't stand Pakistan.
Fair
Milan,
point.
Milan.
Well, you can't stand Pakistan, but tell that to your government.
Joshua here. Yeah, it's weird. There's apart from Afghanistan, that would be like the last place on earth that I would side with.
Terrible place.
Joshua says, one side of the Museum of Tolerance, a younger pro-Palestine protester attacked a 9-year-old man for being a Jew, and pro-Israel, this is Ali Dawa's idea of helping the elderly because of our intolerance. Yeah, Ali Dawa says we need Sharia to help old people.
We will probably go through that tomorrow on my channel.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to go through. Thank you very much for telling the truth, Goyim. You have restirred my hope in humanity more than once.
Nice. Just doing it for the money, man.
The Jew and Hakikachu. Remember, you mentioned why won't Jews use Islamic text? IDF dropped leaflets in Han Yunis recently warning Gazans to stay away from Hamas. They used Al-Maida, I think 551 as a hint. Did they? That would be interesting. 551s don't take the Jews and Christians as friends.
What? They use that? Huh.
That's weird.
That is funny.
Isn't marrying a kafir haram unless they convert?
It is. Depending on the gender.
Yeah,
So
Muslim men can marry women from the people of the book. So they can marry a Jewish woman or a Christian woman without her converting. The same is not true in reverse. A Muslim woman cannot marry a Jewish or Christian man. As far as other groups like Hindus, yeah, there would normally be the woman would have to convert, but that's part of the love jihad. You get a girl to fall in love with you. You get a girl to fall in love with you, and then okay, well, to be married, you have to convert. So converts.
yeah, that's true. That's what they do.
Don't trust that Farfour. He's an imposter. Oh, the other Farfour. Ooh, we got competing Farfours. Red Olympus says, I thought every mosque had to be built on someone else's religious temple. No, but what is this? I looked it up. It's a rule that every mosque be built on the ruins of someone else's religious site. Yeah, you'd have to give us what you looked up for that, because
I don't know of any such thing.
yeah, me neither. Sorgo here says, I still have sympathy for kids in Gaza, but I have no sympathy for pro-Pally supporters who spread misinfo such as genocide and so on. Yeah, and guys, you should. I mean, keep in mind, you're some kid in Gaza. Even if you're being brainwashed, you didn't have a choice about where you were born and who was going to be controlling you while you're young. So
That's true.
all right, we won't go too much longer, but let's go through a little more of this article.
That's what they do.
It's got to be coming up, got to be getting to the end here soon, right? I think this is the end. Let's see. Enduring divisions. Right-wing Hindu nationalist organizations say the temple's opening is a symbol of a new Hindu nation. The Mughals tried to change us. Then the English tried to change us. But the inauguration of the Ram Temple shows the world that our Hindu traditions, practices, and beliefs are still intact. New India will see a resurrection of the Hindu civilization, said Vinod Bansal, spokesperson for the right-wing Vishwa Hindu Parishad group. They really love emphasizing right wing, extremist right wing.
Why is it so controversial for Hindus to say, you know what, our culture has been suppressed for so long by invaders and this and that. They try to get rid of it, but no, it's here, it's flourishing, and we will reinstate it once again. Why is that such a hugely controversial statement?
Yes,
Why is
following this reasoning, every Muslim government in the world is far right, extreme right wing.
Exactly,
you guys. Yeah,
exactly.
And we will never in a million years hear one peep about that from CNN. Mahant Jarim Das, the local head of the Rashtriya Sang, the parent organization of the BJP, said he does not believe the mosque should not be built in Ayodhya, instead claiming calls to build the structure were a call for war. Go to Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, or a Muslim-dominated country. Why build a mosque like this in India, he said. Fair point. For Hassan Ali, who was just 9 when he spent 2 nights in a local police station trying to escape the 1992 violence, the sectarian fault lines are clearly visible. In 1992, there were many stories of local Hindus and Muslims helping each other. However, now there is a lot more poison that has been fed to people, he said. So one cannot tell anymore. One cannot tell what people have in their hearts. Right, and that was the end of the article. We have seen CNN's version of events. Seen CNN's version of events. All right, AP. So here we are. You've seen all the available evidence on the issue. We watched Al Jazeera and CNN. So, do you condemn Hindus for building their temple there?
Now, no.
What's wrong with you?
No.
Oh.
No. I don't.
I tried to convince him,
it's
ladies and
pretty-
gentlemen. I tried to
it's a pretty
convince him.
based move. It's based.
Here we are, Christian and an atheist, looking at a dispute between Hindus and Muslims. Tried to take him through this entire story about Muslims being oppressed by right-wing extremists yet again, which is always the case because anywhere in the world Islam goes, people eventually react to Islam, and they are, of course, far-right extremists for not wanting to be violently subjugated. And here we have it yet again. The atheists can't even sympathize with the poor Muslims like Mahboob.
Well, I don't care. I don't
See?
give a care.
Just doesn't care.
I don't
Doesn't
care
care.
at all.
Nope.
Why would I care? I don't think so.
Nope.
I think it's a very based move, and I hope we can see more such based moves. Just I don't know, just for fun. You know, that's my perspective. I would say.
All right, let's burn through these remaining super chats. Jonathan says, every time 2 IDF soldiers hear from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they scratch their heads, look at each other and say, isn't that what we're doing? Indeed, the IDF is freeing Palestine from Hamas.
Palestina.
Romeo says, the archaeological survey of India gave evidence and proof that there was a temple under the Babri Masjid to the Supreme Court of India. Yeah, we said it 9 times, Romeo. Give us the actual evidence and we will take a look at it. So send that to us. And we're going to be looking for what the actual evidence is. Joshua here says, either of you see the WF bring Brazilian witch doctor to do some chant to nature gods and sneeze on the leaders on stage? Looks like a COVID risk to me. No, I didn't see that. You familiar with that?
Nope.
Pretty creepy.
Not at all.
Creepy.
Sounds pretty. That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does.
That's what I would do.
You let me sneeze in your faces. My next incantation requires me to pee on you. You don't want to be intolerant, do you? Corrupter of the Land says, AP, by relating facts about Israel's history on X, you are corrupting the land. Good job.
I am. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep in mind, guys, it's important to note because, I pointed in my article, 3 Quran verses every Jew needs to know. I mention Surah 5 verse 33, but it's just for the context of 532. And you have all these guys saying, no, see, it's only talking about war. It says wage war against Allah. And I have to respond like, how does a person wage war against Allah? How does a person do that? Right? How do you wage war against Allah? Right? He's above the throne.
You pick up your sword and you throw it up in the sky.
No,
go ahead,
yeah, and so I tell them, go to your commentaries. Opposing Sharia, that's waging war against Allah. Apostasy, that's waging war against Allah. Spreading another religion, that's waging war against Allah. Even refusing to convert, that's waging war against Allah. All of this is waging war against Allah. And so all of this is worthy of violent repercussions. But in Islam, there's a principle that the person who's actually spreading the corruption or doing whatever is not the only person responsible. Anyone who is sort of making it possible for the person to do that is also guilty. And so if AP, and so the reasoning here, and by the way, Osama bin Laden said exactly this. Osama bin Laden has said this, right? It's, you guys are wondering why we're attacking sites where tons of civilians are going to die. Guess what? Those civilians pay the taxes that cause corruption in our land. So they're guilty. They're guilty too. But in Islam, there's this principle that the person who is providing it, like if a soldier goes out and fight, but you're the one who pays taxes to the government that pays the soldier salary, you're equally responsible for what goes on there, and equally an equally attractive target. So yes, AP is, long story short, AP is corrupting the land, and so he's in trouble. So
you know
he's
what?
under he's under a death sentence for leaving Islam, for blasphemy, making fun of Muhammad, and for causing corruption in the land. So multiple death sentences. Dan here says, y'all think terrorists will start attacking India? What do you mean start? That started a long time ago, Dan. Remember the Mumbai massacre? Some of them have actually been really big terrorist attacks. So you could say, do we think they're going to increase? Don't know, but would not surprise me right now. David Wood and AP, whenever I bring up the apostasy rates in Iran, Muslims will tell me Shia Islam doesn't count as real Islam. How would y'all respond? Well, I wouldn't care.
Sunni Islam doesn't count as real Islam either.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you care? Go with something else. If someone says, oh, I don't care about Shia Islam. Okay, good. So, okay. Islam is that version of Islam is collapsing. You don't have, it's not as bad, the apostasy rates, it's not as bad for them in some other Muslim countries as it is in Iran, where apparently 40% of the population still believe in Islam. But you have the same trend going in Sunni countries as well. It's not down to 40% anymore, but you are dealing with, they're saying, again, 5 to 10% of Muslims in Muslim countries, Sunni Muslim countries, are actually closeted atheists.
Mm-hmm.
Shameful.
And if the trajectory continues
continues,
then yeah, everybody will leave Islam.
Mm-hmm. The truth says, love you both. The truth will set you free. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Piyush Kumar says, SC Judgment, page 594. ASI found, hey, some of these guys are really obsessed with us believing that there was a Hindu temple under there before.
I don't believe you. No matter what evidence you present, I will not believe you.
SC Judgment, page 594. ASI found non-Islamic and artifacts underneath. Court judgment.
I will never believe you.
Page 594. Not able to post the links. It's in the chat.
I will never believe you.
Yeah, don't send it to us in the chat. Give us the title that we can Google in the comments afterwards. But notice, non-Islamic artifacts underneath. That wouldn't mean temple by itself. So anyway, the point is, we're open to the evidence. Just send it to us, but it's not going to work in the chat.
To be honest, I mean, I said it earlier, but I don't even care at this point.
AP says he doesn't. He says he doesn't care. AP's on your side. He's on your side. He's saying if you had great evidence that there was a temple underneath, it wouldn't affect his position right now at all. Just saying that's it. That was a holy site to you. That's enough. Says why did the Muslims pick that spot? Because it's a special site to you. AP is saying he doesn't care if there was a temple under there or not.
Yep. If you presented evidence that there was actually a temple, that would just add as justification that Hindus may take it and do with it whatever they want. I already at this point completely support the Hindu idea of just taking it and rebuilding a temple there, because it was a holy site and we know that now.
Mm-hmm. Vikram says India is 1.4 billion with free press. You will see 2 to 3 or few cases. Hindus also face problems in Christian countries, but no one's Sharia bad. I didn't understand some of that. Mm-hmm. Search Goa Inquisition about Christianity in India.
Yeah, I mean, Goa was, as far as I remember, taken by the Portuguese, who then used it as a trading hub, but under whose rule, I guess, or maybe during a transition, I don't know, certain atrocities were committed in the name of European Christians.
You see, that's why we have to kill Christians.
But this is ancient. But this is history. It's history.
Yeah, anyone wants to say, hey, this thing that happened a long time ago justifies violence now, that can go in any direction. So not a good idea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am at work. I keep finding sneaky breaks. That's Chloe coming to take peeks at the live stream. Jason says, can Hindus build a temple in front of a mosque in Pakistan? I don't think so.
They should.
LaBelle said, I love to see you two eating that 21-foot-long vegetarian Quran with saffron. Saffron's mad about me. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Emmanuel says, how Muslim view Asian people like me don't grow a single hair on my jaw. It's common in Asia. How come all known Allah knows nothing about people who don't grow beards? Yeah. Islam's not for you if you can't grow a beard.
If you can't grow a beard, just don't join Islam.
No, because they're going to make fun of you. Or get a fake beard.
Yeah.
Rocco says, why 21 feet specifically and not 20 feet? Is the largest Quran currently 20 feet long and they need 21 feet for the record? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. That's some magic number there.
Maybe it's about blackjack. I don't know.
Aban said, 21, yeah. Got to be 21. Going to have a casino. Will it be okay? Will it be okay to say it is 21 foot long idolatry? Yes, because they will come from all over the world to worship that Quran. Yeah. The truth. I remember going to Subway with my mate from school, and the inappropriate Subway jokes were potent. It was hard to resist. Inappropriate. Oh yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alban says next episode 21 foot long goat. That's what they really want. Goat Hub said you can find that here. Alban, so you have it right there. So you had the response. So you can find it right there on Goat Hub. 21 foot long goat. Vishak says, I'm not kidding. Look it up. Maldives used to be a Buddhist country until their king converted to Islam.
I don't think anybody suggested that you were kidding.
Yeah.
You just read that earlier and said, yeah. So Sri Lanka was Buddhist and Maldives was Buddhist. Maldives turned into a Muslim country.
Yeah. Every country that is now a Muslim country at one point was not a Muslim country. Yeah. And so it's just who had it. Yeah. If Hindus aren't good for allowing others full constitutional and legal rights, then so be it. However, Christians sure don't create problems for us.
Alhamdulillah. You see, this is proof.
Didn't they build the mosque on the Temple Mount? Yes. Yes, we brought that up multiple times. Joshua says, most important in the 21st century world is the new Trinity, me, myself, and I. Subjective feelings are more important than objective facts like history. That is interesting as far as like the article constantly emphasizing feelings. And it's written for a Western audience. It's been programmed to think that feelings are the most important things in the entire world. But somehow that rule does not apply when it's the feelings of anyone else, even people who are being subjugated by jihadis.
Or feelings of people who leave Islam and who say, I don't believe in Islam. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to me. Don't care. Just kill them.
Yeah. You could say that. You can say that openly on YouTube that apostates need to be executed. YouTube says it's totally fine, as evidenced by Ali Dawa's video calling for the public executions of ex-Muslims. Totally fine with YouTube. If ex-Muslims were to say the same thing in reverse, oh, you guys should be executed, they would be banned for hate speech.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's part of the issue with us calling out and exposing the hypocrisy is the hypocrisy spreads, right? You have in the mindset of the Ummah, there's one set of rules for us, another set of completely different set of rules for everyone else, and we get to impose this on them. But then as they spread those ideas, everyone else picks up the same ideas. Like journalists, politicians, they all end up with this like just to give an example, when Denmark recently said, okay, we have to make laws against Quran burnings and so on. They actually enforce these things by law. They enforce the same situations as Sharia. What percentage of Muslim countries have to be non-Muslims until they are unable to enforce Muslim teachings? I don't think there's any sort of set number, but you're looking at where, like a place like Iran, they're still able to enforce Islamic teachings because they have the power. And yet you see it's starting to break up, and I don't think it's going to last. And so, yeah. I mean, keep in mind, in Western countries, like again, just like Denmark, they're able to enforce Muslim teachings, even if they're a tiny minority of the population, mainly by a combination of whining and claiming to be victims and violent riots, burning cars and so on, throwing violent tantrums. And so if it ain't broke, why fix your method? Think we could say a word on behalf of Tommy Robinson back in court tomorrow, I'm sure for legit reasons this time, needs money too. Urban Scoop. Yeah, Tommy on Twitter has pointed out people can help out with his legal expenses. But yeah, he's fighting various things in court where they'll just like ban him and say you can't come to London. What?
Again?
Yeah, I don't know what this is for. I know he's been having problems recently saying, okay, you can't go to London because you're just going to start trouble down here, and just telling him you can't show up. Meanwhile, you can be Ali Dawa and go around be harassing Jews and stuff. You're totally fine with the government.
Of course, Jews can be harassed. Who cares about Jews?
And Sir White Meat here. Maybe it's a 21 foot long because it's the 21st century. Yeah, that would be a good theory, and maybe they'll add a foot to it each year. Maybe they'll find some of the missing verses, the missing Quran verses that were eaten by a goat.
No, I think it's about blackjack. I think my guess there was right.
All right, guys. Well, we wanted to notice we've been trying to keep people informed about stuff that's going to be an issue. So last night went through the what's going on in Iran and their views about the Mahdi and how they are connected to things that are going on in the world. And looks like things might be heating up in India here. It's possible. So that's what's going on. All right, AP, any final thoughts? What's going on? Anything coming up? Anything we need to be aware of?
The Prophet is going to go to the farthest mosque. Other than that, I would say tomorrow we want to review Al-Dawa and his reasoning for why people should accept Islam, which we of course agree with very much, but we just want to check if we agree for the same reasons or not. And other than that, I would say, I don't know, let's just look out and stay away from his lane.
All right, and one last super chat here from Piyush here says, download Supreme Court of India, IOTA Judgment PDF, page 594.asi, wrote, non-Islamic to suggest Hindu, Buddhist, or Jains in that order of possibility. Not sure what that means. But I will check that out. All right, everyone.
I will not check it out.
When we gonna be live on your channel?
Tomorrow at the same time.
We're gonna be wrecking Ali Dawa.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You'll want to tune in.
I'm also planning on doing some early live streams tomorrow, possibly reviewing some of the claims by Daniel Hikikichu about the Talmud with Yosef from Israel Advocacy Movement. Still raging that. We'll see.
Ooh, sweet. That should be interesting. Yeah. And then Joseph will have to, of course, agree with Daniel Hikikichu.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, this is what we think of Gentiles. Ha ha! In your face.
Inshallah.
All right, everyone. So, be sure to check out AP's channel for cool stuff that's coming up. And if you don't know, there is more cool stuff coming up. And I suppose it's a good time. All we can do now is sing you a song.
Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, private pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester. Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me. Islam's not